Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world. Welcome back to SimPlay Motorsport here for the penultimate time of the Pro-Am season for season number 11. Sadly, all good things must come to an end, and this season has been one for the ages, it must say, as it comes towards its abrupt end next week at Donington Park. The Donington Decider is where we're going to find out who can do what for the championships this season. But we've still got the fantastic race of tonight to take place. And I say fantastic races, because we're at Zolder, and it is the Format B category of racing tonight. It is that of the sprint with reverse grid, and then that of the feature race coming your way this evening in what should be a fantastic day of racing action here in Belgium. Mathew Duffin joined in the box once again by my partner in crime, that of Wellington Jimenez. Wellington, good evening. Welcome to the commentary box once again.
Yeah, good evening to you, Matt. Now, to be brutally honest, I have only raced Zolder twice. The 2 career mode races that you do, and never touch it again.
Whereas I'm the complete opposite. I love Zolder. In fact, if I look at the most successful drivers at Zolder on SimPlay Motorsport, when I can find Zolder, because there's Kyle Army, Imola, Valencia, Snetterton, Donny, Kota, Suzuka, Bathurst, Zolder. If I look at the most successful drivers at this race circuit at SimPlay Motorsport, I don't have a pole position, but I have 6 wins to my name, and the next most amount of wins is 2. So
this guy.
Yeah,
bloating. Love it.
You was bloating on Fox Tecker last night about your world records at Virginia.
I have no idea what you're talking
Virginia
about,
International Raceway. So yeah, I've got to big myself up tonight, Beef. I'm in the greatness. I'm in the presence of greatness with all your world records here in the motorbike games.
Yeah, Ramsey finally lit a fire under himself. Probably with me being his spotter, managed to claw back second place, even though Davis's PC cried itself to sleep.
It did
but
indeed.
Hey, but it was a podium. I'll take it.
And we said last week, didn't we? We had a good shout out to Ramsey Jimenez for his podium in race 2 at Sebring a week ago. Well done to Ramsey Jimenez, because he went one better. He went P2 and in the 60-minute race at Virginia International Raceway there. So he's trying to fight for a top 4, potentially top 3 in the championship. We'll see what the points say. Speaking of our points, though, Wolski is on 128 points. He's on 886 points. He's well clear of Michael Johnson, who is not here tonight. So that could be crucial in their championship battle. Stardog is P3 from Sam Greaves 4th. Mirko Ricci is 5th from Richard Bettison 6th. They are the only drivers that can win the championship in the silver category. Gabino cannot. Then it's Cherry Moore, Alcapara, Millington, Coates, Craig, Hunt, Popovich, Flores, De Block, Juarez, we're going to get that name wrong all night once again. Cummins, Peckman, Taylor, Dronlander, Argent, Sturrock, Murray, Clarbel, Gluhack, and Waste. And in bronze, it's between Simcoe, Kruppel-Jan, Stapley, Sanchez, Malarex, Smith, Privet, and Petrovic can also win the championship in that one. With Tucker in 9th, he can no longer win it. Neither can Kerchek, Broom, White, Bardi, Dog, Lee, Stanek, Doosan, Williams, and Hughes. And in the team's championship, it's a 3-way fight. Greasy Bandits lead Black and Blue, 4Q a P3. Hulkianos Motorsport a P4 cannot win it, neither can Vanguard Racing, KSR Team Merlot, SimPlay Racing, ACC Maniacs, FRO Racing Team, Team GBR, BSH Spinners, ACC Venom Racing, Forever Forward Racing, and Trotters Independent. So that then is your current championship standings this afternoon. Going into the final Format B race of the season, and Wellington, the penultimate week of the championship in the Pro-Am.
Yeah, and it kind of seems that even though Wolski only has 1 win to his name, he's kind of pulled a Benny Vargas, stayed consistent, stayed up there, and slowly running away with the championship. And with Johnson not being here, he might be able to, well, I don't want to jinx him, but I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going. He might be able to put a ribbon on this gift.
Well, he's currently the fastest man out on the track as well at the moment. And look at Kruppeljan and Simcoe. Third and fourth. That could be an interesting fight in the bronze category there. In this one at the moment. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Starlog's down in 8th. Petterson's 11th. Mirko Ritchie's not yet set a lap time, neither is Cherry Moore, so not sure where them two are roughly in terms of pace at this moment in time. Sam Greaves is 14th, so interesting looking practice session. Now it's been a shortened practice session. We was having a few server issues in terms of getting it reset properly. No issues in terms of connection or anything, it just wasn't resetting. So it has been a shortened 25-minute practice, so there is 4 minutes left here for the drivers, Wellington. But I suppose, you know, these lap times may be just done on a bit of qualifying fuel and short runs with it being a shorter practice session instead of filling up and trying to do a long run in what has been a 25-minute session.
Yeah, maybe I don't know how quick a 29.5 is. I might have to get the spreadsheet around the time of qualifying, but I don't know. I think it is those shorter runs, and then you have Wolski, Popovich, who are 3/10 off, then a huge step for Kruppeljan and Simcoe, 7/10 off, and then another big step where you have a group from Coates in 5th to Privet down to 17th, all within that almost 2-second range. So maybe the mid-pack are doing all the race pace, and the people that we see towards the front are on their quali runs.
Yep. Thank you, Prestige. I've again forgot to mute the microphone on my controller, hence the echoing. And Tony's in the chat saying, what? No Kieran? Must be away practicing his 360s. Yeah, there is no Kieran. There's not a lot of drivers tonight. We're expecting 23, potentially 22, because Steve Millington's not sure if he's going to be away from work in time. So this might be it for the grid tonight, Wellington. And pretty short grid, but it's a small, narrow circuit here, 129.5. It's not a long lap. So the drivers here, they'll find the traffic pretty quickly. And traffic around this circuit, Mr. John Goudet can tell you, is not something you want to have against you on your side at times. So it's going to be an interesting one to see what the drivers will do, especially in that 60-minute race coming up a little later on. Great to have this format be back. Obviously, we've always enjoyed a reverse grid here at SimPlay Motorsport over the years. 6-year anniversary coming up, by the way, this month as well. So 6 years SimPlay will be this year. But with this one only being 60 minutes and the 15-minute sprint, not the 90-minute race, it's going to just provide, I think, a little bit more chaos in that first race of the night.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely going to give us more strategy options throughout, or give the drivers more strategy options and more for us to look at to see if, okay, if you can't pass somebody on the circuit, are you going to be able to pass them in the pit lane? So I think we're going to see a lot of one lap overcuts and 1 lap undercuts. Because to try and do 2 laps, at least in LFM Pro standards, that's not going to work. So I think we're going to have quite a variety of strategies, even with some people pitting within like the first 10-15 minutes, if I had to guess.
Well, let's see what they can do as Mirko Ritchie returns back to the pit lane. Neil Broom coming into the pits. A lot of drivers coming in, not going for their final runs here. So we'll keep our eyes on what will happen throughout the course of today. And what a season it's been, Beef. What a season it's been this season. It's been really good across our... When you think back, what now? 10 weeks ago, because this should arguably be the final race of the season today. When you think back 10 weeks ago, when we started LMU, when we started this season 11 of ACC, it has been a great season, not just for the channel, in terms of subscribers, in terms of viewers on the stream, but the racing action has been fantastic across all 3 nights this season.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can't remember how many weeks we have until we rack them and stack them again on LMU, but heard a little word on the street. Might be a media day for LMU to, you know, get everybody back in order and reset everything before the season. But again, that's just the word on the street.
It's a possibility because we've only got 3 weeks till the start of the season in LMU.
Oh. Yeah, we'll make it work.
Yeah. We'll all put our heads together and do something somehow, I'm sure. Right, grid lineup. Here you go for the first race of the night. So, Gary Klobuchar on the front row of the grid. He's alongside Jarez with Flores in P3. Popovich is fourth from Hunt, who was just in the pit lane a moment. He's back out there now. Brian Craig P6 from Coates with Cherry Moore in 8th. Betson 9th, Richie 10th, Greaves 11th, Stardog 12th, Wolski 13th. And in the back of and then into the bronze field, it's 14th place for Doosan alongside Broom. Mark Tucker then from Petrovic with Privet from Rob Smith, Stapley, Kruppeljan and Simcoe. So Steve Millington hasn't been able to get back in time for race 1 at least. Hopefully he'll be there for race number 2. In a season which Steve will be a little bit disappointed with, I suppose, because the SimPlay Racing team just haven't been around as much this season in the Pro-Am category. Obviously back-to-back Constructors Champions. They now can't win that, so it's going to be passing the torch to somebody else. Will it be Black and Blue for the first time? Could it be Greasy Bandits for a second time in Pro-Am? Could it, or maybe a third time in Pro-Am? Actually, I can't remember. Could it be 4Q for a second time? So, going to be interesting to see where the torch is being passed in this Constructors battle.
Yeah, it really is going to be. But if it was Greasy Bandits, I wouldn't be surprised. They've probably been the most consistent team. I know that, at least on Stardog's side, it's kind of been an up and down the entire season. But Wolski, again, always seems to find his way into the top 5 and just keep it there.
Yeah, he does indeed, and this is something we've just got to keep our eyes on and see what will happen. But like I say, Greasy Bandits have been the team to beat, haven't they, this season? Really, they laid down the mark with a 1-2 in great fashion, great job.
Yeah, and I think I'm seeing kind of a revamped Stardog towards the end of the season, because he absolutely dominated Bathurst and then fell off, and Nürburgring was just unlucky. Came out in Suzuka last week and again just crushed the field.
Yep, indeed he did. So we'll see what happens in this race. We'll see what happens going forward. We'll see what happens going into the new season. Who will be promoted? We know that the defending champion of Pro-Am will get promoted, but we'll see who else gets promoted as well, because that could be an interesting one. See how many drivers make that step up into the Gold Championship for next season. As we're seeing Popovich here, did he just clip the wall? He is. He's bouncing off the wall. I'm not sure. I think Popovich may have let go of his wheel here. Now he has back hold of it, 'cause he's going straight again, but he may have just clipped the wall and picked himself up a little bit of damage there for Popovich. So not the start to this race he'd have wanted. And now remember this week, Wellington, as well, it is the mandatory 25-second pit stop time. So every driver will be held in the pits for 25 seconds mandatory. Unlike the 90-minute races where you can just splash and dash, this week, not an option.
Yeah, just, coming to the pits regardless of if you take fuel, tires or not, just come down the pits for a hydration break, because we love those. But yeah, just since there's only a 5-second difference between new tires and keeping the set that you're already on, and at least in my mind, it seems that you should just take the tires, especially with how sensitive new tires and old tires are, and when compared to LMU. LMU, you could just about run your tires to about 30% and you'll still have pretty decent grip. But on ACC and certain cars like the Lexus and the Mustang and the BMW, I believe, have these like weird fall off periods.
Yep.
So if you get caught out in that, might be at a huge disadvantage.
Well, let's wait and see what happens then, as we are coming down the start-finish straight towards the finish line to get ready to go here for 3 races left in Pro-Am. 2 tonight, 1 next week at Donington. And will the championship go all the way? But we're about to go green here at Zolder. For race number 1, it's green and go. And it's not a great start from Juarez there on the second row of the grid. That is already Diego Flores moving up the inside into second place. The Ferrari, though, holds it strong around the outside. Popovic looks to get the up and under. Gary Klobuchar got an amazing start out front. And now Popovic trying to fight back round the outside. Runs a little deep. That's going to allow Hunt the opportunity to try and tuck underneath the BMW M4 of Popovic. Hunt then moving himself up. Popovic just onto the grass a little bit, all through the opening couple of corners, as clean as a whistle here in a good start to this race. In fact, I say that in the background there is Alexis and what looks to be Mirko Ricci off, and that is a spinning Ferrari as well. Simcoe going side by side with Privet, trying to get past out of Stapley, who Stapley looks up the inside of the Ferrari of Neil Broom in towards the first chicane. Mirko Ricci is one of the cars who's back in the pits, as was that of Bettison, who was off. Not sure who the number 4 is. That is Kruppeljan.
Oh,
so
Kruppeljan.
A huge moment for one of the championship protagonists in the bronze category here, Wellington.
Yeah, I saw the 4 going slowly. Couldn't remember who that was off the top of my head, but as long as Simcoe can keep it clean these last 13 or so minutes, he's going to have a huge advantage heading into not only the feature race, but also Donington Park next week, because the amount of damage that Kruppeljan has, he's going to be sitting there for a while.
He is indeed. Hunt and Popovic into the pits, as is Wolski. What's happening further down the field? Brian Craig on the back of Coates with Cherry Moore and Sam Greaves behind him. A little bit further back, Tucker coming under pressure from Doosan for the lead in the bronze categories. Doosan has a look up the inside, can't make the move there. Here's Privet on the back of that of Rob Smith, so I assume Rob Smith's got past him here. In fact, no, he's actually saying he's close to the back of Mike Hunt, but he's on the rear of Rob Smith. Bettison is also into the pit, so I think he's returned to the pit lane as well. Back further forward, though, and Cherry Moore just gets horrible through the first chicane, almost allowing Sam Greaves to have the run over that of Cherry Moore. Over the brow of the hill they come, down towards the second chicane here at Zolder. Cherry Moore on the back of Brian Craig. Sam Greaves following suit. Stardog waiting in the wings as well, as out front Juarez and Clarbel going at it also. Flores sitting in a pretty comfortable P3 right now. And Hunt has finished his pit stop. He's on his way out of the pit lane at this moment in the race. Simcoe gaining on the back of Doosan and Tucker, so this is huge for the lead in bronze. We've got a three-way fight, and Simcoe's already trying to battle for that lead in the category as Bettison still in the pits, Ritchie still in the pits, and Kruppeljan, like you said, Wellington, got to sit there and wait with all that damage to his name.
Yeah, I was watching the Tucker and Doosan fight, and Doosan just gave Tucker just a little love tap heading into the second chicane. Don't know if Doosan just had the overspeed or if Tucker went onto the binders just a little bit early.
Gary Klobuchar coming out under pressure now for the overall race lead as well. A Ferrari behind him, fastest lap of the race for the number 420 as they come through turn number 4 and head down towards the first of 3 chicanes here at Zolder. So you can see in the background there is Flores, there's Coates, there is the Brian Craig Cherry Moore battle. Clarbel defends the inside from Juarez.
Oh, Wolski's around.
Do it. Where is Wolski then? He's already done his pit stop and he is around at the first chicane and has now gone a lap down. And the championship leader with Michael Johnson not here is under strife. I believe Cherry Moore's got the run on Brian Craig. Yes, he has. Cherry Moore has gone through on the exit of the first chicane on Brian Craig. So Cherry Moore makes the move sick. Bit of a track limits cut there. That'll ping up a warning to him. But Cherry Moore moves through and up another position here. And that is Tucker also off on the exit of the second chicane. And Doosan now moves up another spot.
Yeah, quite an easy pass for him. But just Wolski around. Only thing that I could really think of is that he took a little bit too much curb in the first chicane. And that's what sent him around. BMW is very, very sensitive on its suspension when compared to things like the Ford or the Mercedes that can easily go over some of the curves.
Now I'm noticing we have had a retirement in this race. It looks like Richard Bettison has gone, so I can't see him on the timing tower. Flores into the pits, and Juarez now takes the lead of this race. Didn't see what happened there, but Juarez has taken the lead as I was going on to the lead fight. He's taking it at turn 1 because he was not leading across the line. So must have got up the inside going through turn number 1. So Juarez leads here through the first corner and has pulled out a pretty decent gap already. The 23 yellow flag. That's Tucker, who's around on the exit of turn number 1 with damage there as well. Hunt leads his teammate from the pit runners from Popovic. Simcoe trying to gain on the back of him. Kruppeljan is out of the pits, but is sadly a couple of laps down. Betterson is back in. And Stapler here now then, trying to get onto the back of Rob Smith. The Bentley goes well around here. I've got experience in the Bentley around here. It is a beautiful car to drive around this circuit. Petrovic on the back of Stardog. Sawalski, championship leader, almost going to be inviting that of Sam Greaves and Stardog with a good result for them too, because Mirko Ricci is back out on the circuit, but he's going to be finishing down in 21st position. This almost invites Sam Greaves to have a better result here today and almost gets them up the order a little bit more. Flores off the limiter, but has to take that long pit exit to come out. Here comes Hunt and Greaves. Where is Diego Flores? There is Diego Flores, who falls behind the 2 Mercedes drivers. Will Hunt do the switcheroo for Sam Greaves here, I wonder?
It'll be interesting to see, but I think Hunt has just a little bit more pace than Sam Greaves, and I see that Richard Pedersen is back in, albeit a couple laps down, so
yep.
Maybe it was a disconnect and not retirement.
Possibly so. Good evening to Lee Weston in the virtual grandstand. Peaceful stepdad, Fury's granddad Gary Clarbel, and Prestige as well as Al Capara. Shame you're not here tonight, Al Capara. Would have loved to see your Mercedes around this circuit. I think it would have gone really well. Stapley trying to gain on Rob Smith. Stardog trying to gain on Simcoe. We've got Flores and Greaves. Greaves getting closer to the back of Hunt. 3 more drivers in the pits. Coates has pitted from P3 on the road at the moment. So we'll see then if this gives Hunt and Greaves an extra position, because if them two can swap places, one, it's, you know, the points are still the same for the Constructors' Championship while you're both ahead of the Greasy Bandits cars, and 2, it's better for Sam Greaves in that championship, seeing as Hunt can't win it anymore.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, it just, again, if I was Hunt, I would go and let Sam Greaves through. Now it seems like Greaves has a little bit more pace. About a lap ago, they were separated by 7/10, and now it's only 4/10.
Oh, there is Coates.
Maybe...
Look, sorry, Coates just coming out the pit lane, and Coates stays ahead of Hunt and Greaves. So they both got the jump over Diego Flores, but didn't jump that of Coates. So at the moment, Coates is got the jump over the 2 Mercedes-Benz drivers. So they're going to have to do some overtaking here, Wellington, as Gary Clarbel enters the pit lane.
Yeah, I don't know. If I was Hunt, I would try and make as big a gap for Sam Greaves to kind of slide through, or, you know, disturb, or I don't want to say rough up, but, you know, maybe force Coach into a mistake, as I see Sam Greaves cuts part of the second chicane. But yeah, maybe cause Coach to make a mistake that allows Sam to get through.
And let's not forget, Coates got promoted from bronze this season because of his good bronze pace, didn't he, after his 3-race review? So this is Coates fighting in a silver championship that he was sort of on the back footing, because yes, he was silver pace, but he wasn't sort of up there in the silver championship.
Yeah, but luckily the points transferred over. It's not like he went from silver to gold within 2 weeks and unprepared and then put it on pole. Don't know who did that.
No, now I'm blowing myself up a bit. Listen to you.
No idea what you're talking about, man.
6 world records, dominant win at Misano. Oh, yeah.
No, just 3 world records.
3 world records. Right, here comes... Oh, Betterson's waiting at the exit to the pit lane. So Betterson has come back out on circuits. That's good for him. So whatever issues he's had has been sorted. So he was, due to issues, he's managed to come back in and get back out on track. So 22nd place for him. But Dusan did get past Petrovic there. Betson waited at the exit of the pit lane. Now, where did Gary Clarbel? Gary Clarbel came out behind Sam Greaves and Hunt here, and he's under pressure from Flores. So Hunt, Coates and Greaves have all jumped ahead of that of Gary Clarbel then. And look at this little fight here behind. Clarbel, Flores, Popovic, almost Simcoe and Stardog. As Simcoe, gets out the way and then just taps the rear of Stardog, and they both go off and they both get back on. A flash of the lights from Simcoe, with Simcoe saying that there was possibly a nudge from Stardog. I don't think there was. It didn't look like it. No damage to the front of Stardog's car. As Hunt now getting closer to the back of Coates. Greaves almost falling into the clutches of Corbel here. The next race leader, Juarez, is into the pit lane. So has Coates pulled off a great strategy here, and the undercut going to work for him?
It's gonna be close. I think Coach is gonna lead.
Yeah, I think he is, because he was ahead of Cherry Moore and Brian Craig. Through turn 1 goes Coates and Hunt. Sam Greaves has dropped right off the back of these two. Where is Sam Greaves in relation to Juarez? Well, he's got Gary Clarbel looking round the outside.
Going to be behind Popovich,
they all get
I believe.
Oh, he is indeed, yeah. Fighting with Popovich, but behind him. So a nightmare pit stop for the race leader there, Wellington.
Yeah, I wonder if he forgot to deselect tires.
Yes, good shout.
And maybe that's what happened to Clarbel as well, because it doesn't auto deselect tires like it does on LMU, and always selects them.
Hunt.
So that's the only thing that I could think of that allows you to lose that much time.
Hunt made the move on Coates there.
Ooh,
A little bit of contact between the two. I'll go back to Stardog in just a second as Coates is trying to fight with Hunt into the second chicane. Can't do so. What's happened to Stardog? In fact, wait a second, because Coates has tapped Hunt around. They all have to take avoiding action. Greaves has had to cut across the grass to avoid his teammate, who is facing the complete wrong way. Stay stationary and still cannot rejoin at the moment. Here comes Broom and Stapley having to cut the corner as well. But Coates did tap their Hunt around at the second chicane. What had happened, though, to Stardog?
He just hit the curve kind of wrong and almost straight lined it into the wall at the first chicane, but I think he got away unscathed, but it was extremely close to the wall and just a little bit of a slide, so I thought, he was going to go rear first into a wall.
Hunt, by the way,
managed to save it.
Is just ahead of Wolski. So he's dropped all the way down to 18th spot at the moment. Tucker into the pits. Now Coates has got to come under pressure from his teammate Sam Greaves. Sam Greaves scoring big over Wolski tonight. So Hunt will need to either... Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, at least in the first race, but we still have 60 more minutes worth of Zolder.
Hunt will be unhappy with that. I just caught that happening before I went over to Stardog as Popovich is putting Clarbel under pressure into the first chicane. Clarbel just squeezes Popovich here, who holds it round the outside. Bunny hops over the first curb, at the second curb at the first chicane. Gets a horrible run, contact with Clarbel, and Popovich into the wall. Bit of damage on the front of that car, giving Simcoe another spot, so that's helping him over Kruppeljan. Stardog could not get through, though. And what a train of cars we've got here. Coates to Greaves, and a bit of a gap back to Clarbel with then that of Flores, Juarez, Simcoe, Doosan, Stardog, Popovich. As Stardog goes up around the outside of Popovich before the hairpin. Petrovic might fancy a move on Popovich as well at the hairpin. Can't do it there. And Popovich may be struggling here. Where is Coates over that of Cherry Moore into the final corner? Cherry Moore here, coming off the limiter in a minute. Not yet, he's not actually. That's Brian Craig at the bottom of the pit lane. Cherry Moore's off the limiter now, as is Brian Craig. And in fact, it's Brian Craig ahead of Cherry Moore. Is Coates going to get this move done? Yes, easily, as is Sam Greaves. So with 1 minute 29 to go, probably 2 laps left in this race. Fight on for the lead, but then a big fight between Gary Clarbel as a change for the bronze lead here. Doosan looking up the inside of Simcoe. Couldn't make the move done. Brian Craig running in 3rd place at the moment on the podium.
Yeah, that's a masterclass of a strategy in this sprint race, but he will be under threat from Cherry Moore, and it seems that Cherry Moore, as the season's gone on, he's kind of learned the Mustang more and more.
Yes.
So to see him this far up in a sprint race is really good to see.
Gary Clarbel looking to make a move on Flores. Couldn't do so, though. Simcoe has still got Doosan and Stardog just behind him. Where is Popovich? Down to 14th place. He's got 1.4 to Stapley, 9.2 back to Privet. Hunt, though, has got Tucker in between himself and Wolski, so Hunt's got an extra place. So that'll be what the 4Q Motorsport team need over
Cherry
that.
Moore just hit that of Craig going into the hairpin. Cherry Moore tried to throw it to as far of the inside as he could, and I think just clipped the grass and hit that of Craig.
Duffin's just got ahead of Popovic as well due to all the cars being all over the place at the hairpin. Duffin got a better run out the hairpin over that of Simcoe. So Duffin leads in bronze here. Stardog looking to see, but like you say, Cherry Moore and Brian Craig, what could have been such a good result, they're down the order behind that of Popovic, who is down in 15th place. Where is Hunt? 2.8 off the back of Privet. Can he get closer to Privet with 1 lap to go? Sam Greaves within 7/10 of the race leader. But what an epic sprint race we've had already tonight.
Yeah, this has me. If we only had a quarter of an hour of this type of racing, imagine what it's like with 4 times the amount.
Yeah, indeed. Maybe I have to do most races 90 minutes now. We've got to keep some format B in there, haven't we? Where we've stole the name from elsewhere. Chris Harris promoting Fox Tacker once again. Just saying.
Never heard of them, but I've heard of SimPlay.
Yeah, you know it. Great work from you and Langley last night, by the way. Great work from you two. I'm not going to go into what, but trying to get the SimPlay viewership up. Brilliant from you guys. Down towards the hairpin we go then. For the final time in this first race, looks like Coates has got this done over Sam Greaves at the moment. 1 second is the gap. That's Petterson just in front and probably going to slow down to get the lap done. Wolski has got the fastest lap of the race here and he's on the back of Tucker. But here we go then. Coates looks like he's going to come to the line and looks like Coates is going to take the first win of the day. Indeed he does, out the final corner. Coates then comes across the line to win here at Zolder for race number 1. Sam Greaves will take second place. Good result for Sam over that of Wolski. Then it will be that of Diego Flores, Gary Clarbel. Doosan wins in bronze from Simcoe, second in bronze. Stardog 7th. Rob Smith on the podium in bronze as well from Juarez. Neil Broom in 10th from Petrovic, Stapley. Popovic is going to just hang on in there, it looks like, over Brian Craig as Cherry Moore slows down at the very end. Craig from then Cherry Moore, yes it was, that was Mirko Ricci, the black Lamborghini. Then it's Privet 16th, Hunt 17th, Tucker 18th, Wolski 19th for fastest lap, Kruppeljan 20th with the fastest lap of the race. We're just waiting for Kruppeljan to finish, but Wolski 19th and fastest lap, not good for him, as I believe somebody has just disconnected it. No, it's just decided to change my camera on me for some reason. Either way, not the result and not the start of this race that Wolski would have wanted here tonight, is it?
Yeah, Wolski and Kruppeljan. But just a poor start to the night for the two of them. But again, they still have 60 minutes and a qualifying session to try and reclaim their night.
Indeed they do. So we will then take a short break and be back in a few moments' time with the qualifying session and race number 2. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport. We get ready to go qualifying here for the one and only time this evening. The bronze drivers are currently out on the circuit. The 105 of Rob Smith is the first car leading them around this Zolder track. In towards turn 2 he goes now. They're on their flying lap. Apologies for coming back so late. I had to just go and blow my nose at the very end. I just was about to go back to life. But qualifying well underway, and the championship standings make for interesting reading. In silver, it is a four-way fight now between Johnson, Greaves, Stordog and Wolski, who does still lead, but has had that gap close up. Mirko, Ritchie and Betton can no longer win the championship. Cherry Moore stays 7th. Coates moved up into 8th. Headed Cabino, El Capara, Brian Craig, Steve Millington. Hunt, Popovich, Flores, De Block, Juarez, Cummins, Peckman, Taylor, Dronelander, Argent, Clarbel, Sturrock, Murray, Gluhack and Waste. And then in bronze, still a four-way championship at the moment. Simcoe leading that way though, little bit more comfortable for Simcoe over Kruppeljan. Stapley is P3 from Sanchez 4th. Rob Smith moves up into P5 but can no longer win the championship, with Malarex in 6th, Petrovic 7th, Privet, Tucker, Kucharski in 10th, in 10th, Broom, White, Bardi, Doosan, Dog, Lee and Stanek. And in the teams championship, it's down to a two-horse race. How Falky Motorsport needed Mike Hunt to finish up that order, because they can't win it now and they're out of it by 4 points. So may need a few things to go their way if they're to stay in this Constructors' Championship penalty-wise. Come the end of the day, obviously Coates and Hunt had that coming together. We'll see what that one comes off. But huge ask still for Black and Blue Racing to over Greasy Bandits. They have almost got 300 points between, in fact they've got 315 points between them, so big ass. KSR up into 4th, Hulkanios 5th, Vanguard 6th, Team Merlot 7th, ACC Maniacs 8th, SimPlay Racing 9th, FRL Racing Team, Team GBR, BSH Spinners, ACC Venom, Forever Forward Racing and Trotters Independent. Well underway into qualifying though now at the moment, Wellington. And it's currently Doosan, the man who won that first race in bronze, currently the man out on pole position.
Well, now it's just changed. It's Simcoe by half a second. But Kruppeljan just now about to come up to the line. So he didn't have anything for his championship rival. No, his lap is invalid.
It was indeed. And that's all the bronzers who's gone through. So Broom and his lap was invalidated. Rob Smith next man to come around. Simcoe currently on pole by half a second though at the moment. Big margin for the drivers to close here. Warm day as well, isn't it? 32 degrees track temp. Warm day out there.
Yeah, give or take, although I might have to, put it into Fahrenheit to really understand. And we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. You're looking around the 80s, 90s Fahrenheit, if I remember rightly, something like that. Here comes Rob Smith up to 3rd, Petrovic up into 4th. No, he's not. He's up into pole position by 0.3 of a second. So a good lap there for Petrovic in the BMW. Here comes Royden Stapley then. Does he find an improvement? Yes, he does. Moves out of Mark Tucker for the time being, is it? Because Mark Tucker to the line improves, but doesn't move up anywhere on the standings. Here comes Neil Broom towards the line. Next up, he's currently P8. Not got a lap time on the board. Crosses line, goes within 4th place. Doosan in the Mercedes, looking to try and move up the order a little bit more. Does, moves up into 2nd, but here comes Simcoe to try and answer back here, as I'm not sure what's just happened there, but my camera's once again just changed on me for some reason, and Simcoe moved back up in to 2nd place. Kruppeljan, it's saying he's on an invalidated lap, but he's not yet done a flying lap, so this might be his first one. We'll wait and see what happens, as to the line he now comes and goes into 3rd place.
Yeah, really, really solid job from him. But with a poor race 1, I have a feeling that in race 2, he's going to really link it up together and maybe try and fight for that win. And, for all we know, the overall podium. Because it seems that every season these bronze drivers get quicker and quicker. So, yeah, I know Kruppeljan and Simcoe on the overall podium wouldn't be at all surprised. But Petrovic still leading the way with a 29.7. Very, very solid lap from him.
Yeah, very solid lap from him indeed. And we'll see what they can do as they come through. The 23 of Mark Tucker is next. Rob Smith half a second off the pole. P5 in bronze at the moment. Remember, an extra point to play for here. Next man on a valid lap is the 888 of Neil Broom. And when it is the number 4 of Kruppeljan, Simcoe out there on an invalid lap at the moment. The 470 is a yellow flag. 420, sorry. That might be Juarez who went out a little too early. Broom finds an improvement but stays P6. What can Kruppeljan do here then? That's going to be an interesting question to find out, if Kruppeljan can move up the order or not. Horizon, what is the best fuel strat for this race? I'd honestly say 50-50, bit of a change of tyres in between, job done. That would be my go-to. But as Kruppeljan moves up into third, this track is very tight in terms of overtaking. If you can make them tyres last the hour, maybe just a 50-50 fuel and go for it, or get in early, do your stop and go, would be my other sort of strategy. Get out that traffic, get clean air, and just run to the very end then.
Yeah, give or take. Even my 28-32 strategy wouldn't be terrible. Pit a little bit over halfway, so that way you have fresher tires towards the end.
Yeah.
Well, again, that's just me, and that's my go-to strategy. It worked in some LFM races, so when I came over here, I kept it.
Yeah, don't see why not. If you do what works for you, don't you? Is that what helped you win at Mazzano?
No, it was really just the bop and the 20% restrictor. Now I'm being so truthful with that.
I know you are. I know you are. You're just such a modest guy, you are, aren't you? As here comes Neil Broom towards the line. Can Broom do anything about this lap? No, he can't. The 666 of Duffin goes to the top of the timing screens out. So puts it up to P1. Only 700ths. Look at the top three. It's less than 300ths of a second separating the top three at the moment.
I mean, I expect Kruppeljan to kind of throw himself up there within about that half a tenth range.
Let's see what Kruppeljan can do. No, stays 3/10 off of the pole. Mark Tucker is done for qualifying. Everybody gets one more. And you know, Rob Smith here might get even an extra lap in over the rest of the field in this qualifying session.
Yeah, it's going to be close. Let me flip to him. Just now coming up to the last chicane. Yeah, and I think Stapley, it'll be close for Stapley. But he's just now coming to the hairpin.
Oh, no, Rob Smith's in the wall, out the final chicane, so he's done. He is done for qualifying here. Who's next to the line? It will be Royden Stapley, who will get one more run in. Rob Smith may have just crept 2 more laps in, you know, there. Just may have nearly snuck in an extra lap time. But sadly hasn't. As here goes then that of Stapley, who will get 1 more lap time on the board. As he comes down towards the line, stays P number 7. The BMW of Petrovic stays in 3rd place. Neil Broom, does he improve? No, he doesn't. What about Duffin? Doesn't pull anywhere further ahead of the rest of the field. Simcoe next to the line. Does he find the time to take pole position? Wow, what a lap from Simcoe. 6/10 of a second the difference.
I have no words for that, but yeah, an absolute stonker of a lap. Just now I have an even bigger question. Are any of the silvers gonna come close to that, maybe even beat it? And just how many silvers are gonna be off of that time?
Well, let's wait and see. Kruppeljan done. P number 5 for Kruppeljan. So not the session he was wanting there. And by the way, if you are in the Discord and are wanting to sign up to LMU, get yourself a spot. GT3s there. I've got 2 full-time spots remaining in the GT3s. 2 drivers are down as reserve. So if it does put you down as a reserve, if you do sign up, just give me a message and I'll take a look at it and we'll sort it out. But 7 out of 18 in hypercar, so slots filling up quite nicely. This will be open to the sim grid within a week or 2. Stapley coming into the final chicane now, though. The silvers are out on circuit. Duson's done. Petrovic is done as well. Only Neil Broom out there. What can Royden Stapley do? Couple of tenths moves him up. He had an extra position. Improves, but not enough. Here comes Neil Broom. Does he find anything else out of the lap time? No, he does not. Could Simcoe improve even more? He's bailed to the pit lane. And Mirko Ricci is the first car to be on the track, who will start his flying lap in a moment.
Let's see. All the silvers out. I see Bedison in. Does he have a qualifying ban?
I don't believe so. Let me take a look. No, only Murray and someone who's going to carry a qualifying ban over for next season. So only Murray with that qualifying ban. So no, Betten doesn't have a qualifying ban. But seemed to have a few issues in the first race, didn't he? So I'm wondering if he's just got, instead of it maybe in a disconnection, I wonder if he's just got some wheel issues at the moment.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know what equipment he's running, but I know that sometimes the Fanatec can kind of cry itself to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep that somewhat PG.
Drive Mad in the chat says, lads and ladies, welcome in. And John Ford from the Le Mans Ultimate Season 1 signed up Season 2 the other
your
day.
fellow Welshman.
Yeah, I found out John Ford's a Welshman. Where are we from in Wales, John? See if we're from the same place. That'd be quite nice. John Ford, go on the Welsh. You're looking for another subscriber, one away from 1,350, so we're getting closer. John, you looking for a team to drive in? Could do with some more Welsh drivers. There's only 2 of us. Surrounded by Americans at the moment. Even the English are being...
The Eagles are loud, huh?
Yeah, the Eagles are loud, especially when you're all in here. Jeez. It's crazy.
Except for Gordon. He's with Lap Legends. Never heard of them before, but hey.
Yeah, we don't speak to them. Big Welsh. Drive Mad. I don't know if... I don't think...
Oh, that's Keir Batty. I messaged you about him and his hypercar livery earlier.
Yes. Is he Welsh? He's from Caerphilly. There we go. It's Drive Mad Welsh as well as Mirko Ritchie. Look, opening lap time, only 9th fastest.
I don't know. He might be Scottish, but don't quote me on that. So, Keir, if you're not Scottish, I deeply apologize.
You didn't call him English, so it's all right. John Ford's from Caerphilly as Juarsa there goes second. Wolski, look at that. First lap for Wolski, second fastest at the moment in this qualifying session, so meaning the business. Here comes Sam Greaves, only moves up to 16th, the 1/8 one of Clarbel. He's not, he's from Shetland. Yes, I read your message earlier actually about the Shetlands here, Scottish. Gary Clarbel to the line, doesn't set a lap time. The 68 of Hunt is coming to the line now. Great to have another driver out on the grid for next season. Looking forward to seeing that wingless Peugeot out on the field. As Hunt moves up into 6th. Here comes Diego Flores. LMU, remember, starting on the 8th of September at Beef. Where are we starting at? Top of your head? That's crazy.
Interlagos.
Interlagos. Yes, Interlagos.
Sorry.
Sao Paulo,
I
Brazil.
I almost said Daytona.
Oh, that's crazy.
Said Daytona.
Daytona, the former home of SimPlay Motorsport,
track.
back on the calendar. It's not a better track. Give your head a wobble. It's not a better track at all. Right, Wolski's coming towards the line. What can Wolski do as Mirko Ritchie goes top of the timing screen? Wolski goes into 2nd. Brian Craig next towards the line. What can Brian Craig do before Keenan Stardog comes towards the line now? Just behind Stardog, we got one of the BMWs. Is that still... It was Popovich. No, sorry, so it's not the bronze one. The 186 will be next to the line. That is Cherry Moore. I best get a shift on with a livery. When's the deadline for the media day? Not sure yet, because I've not 100% on media day at this moment, because I've got new cameras that I've been playing around with and trying to learn for next season, and they're doing updates to them, so want to kind of have that nailed before we do a stream of something, but we'll sort something out. But make sure you get that side-on image of the livery sent over to Wellington Jimenez, or Beefy Jimenez on the Discord. I don't know if you are actually Beefy Jimenez on the SimPlay Motorsport Discord.
No, that's only the team one.
Yeah,
that's only the team one.
Yeah. So get it into the apprenticeship, the apprentice admin, the young pad one. He will take it because he's making up a nice little livery guide.
Yeah, either have the front end of the car facing towards the left, very similar to what we did in Double Trouble. And you can either put in LMU liveries and I'll yoink it from there, or you could DM me. Doesn't matter. But I'll get it all sorted out.
And it'll look fantastic on stream, at least for week 1 especially. With our new camera package, Beef. Hey?
Oh, yes.
Showed Beef the camera package the other day. Here comes Richie, no improvement. Wolski improves, but stays 2nd place at this moment in time. Where's Brian Craig? Wellington knows how awesome my liveries are. I enjoyed your Mercedes livery. That's John Ford. Yeah, I enjoyed your Mercedes livery last season. I must admit that. Here comes the 57 of Coates. Race winner in race 1 Only 11th fastest. Where's the Ferrari of Juarez? Moves up to P5 overall, so good lap for him. Jerry Moore moves up into 12th. We've then got one of the Mercedes-Benz. It is Greaves towards the line, moves up into P4. So Sam Greaves trying to keep the pressure on that of Wolski in this championship fight at the moment.
Yeah, but there is 9/10ths between the two of them, and Simcoe's lap still only 5/10ths off that of Richie, and then Dewson 1.1 seconds off. So Simcoe must have had a completely different engine.
I reckon Simcoe might be, even if he doesn't win the championship, in silver next season. Good evening, afternoon, Lee Weston. Rip My Ribs betting my house on Richie. It's a brave bet. It's a brave bet. That's all I'm going to say. Especially after with whatever happened in race 1. But good afternoon to you both. Hope you're doing well.
And yeah, I know how good John Ford's liveries are, albeit he still doesn't have me in his intro, but he has my brother. Crazy stuff. But hey, I digress. We're gonna keep watching qualifying.
Don't start with the digressing nonsense. That was Flores off. The car number 3 of Brian Craig is coming towards the timing line now and is about to cross it. In fact, has crossed it and stays down the order. Popovich to the line, doesn't improve. What about Coates, who's having a good qualifying, not a great qualifying, sorry, compared to his first race, down in 13th. Jerry Moore, can he find a couple of tenths? It could move him. Half a second moves him up into P4. Doesn't find anything there. Sam Greaves needs half a second just to move up into P3, and he also doesn't find any improvement. Here comes Gary Clarbel. I'd love to believe in the Lamborghini, but Wolski's BMW around here. Clarbel moves up to 10th. Good luck from Clarbel. I just fancy Wolski's BMW better over the curbs around this circuit. In this one, Hunt moves up into P9, and then we turn our attention back to 107 of Wolski once again, with what 1 minute 20 on the board here. So drivers are only going to get one more lap in here, Beef, and that'll be the end of qualifying.
Yeah, but still, Richie leading the way with a absolute stonker of a lap, and Wolski able to almost follow up with that, and then. Yeah, just a huge gap. Simcoe 5/10ths off, and everyone else from 4th all the way down to 17th, and that of Stapley, about 1 second to that 2 second range off.
Yeah, indeed they are. Hey, we've hit the 1,350 subscriber mark. Thank you all very much. This season has been an absolute pleasure. With all the subscribers I think we've got almost 150 subscribers nearly, and we've still got this week and next week to go, because we've got the Pro Series tomorrow night, we've got Pro-Am and Pro then the week after, and then it's only a week off, and then it's only 1 week off, and we're back on Tuesday night for LMU Beef.
Huh, yeah, watch me finish last in a hypercar.
Someone else is on the grid. I'm not going to name names, but you probably won't finish last classification-wise.
Well, you know, I would at least enjoy being up on the podium. But I'm seeing that Ford.
You might finish last of the runners, but someone I don't think will finish the race. You mentioned him in the team chat a minute ago.
All right. All right. Well, let's just professional commentators.
Yeah. No, I am a professional commentator.
Did put me,
and I say it as it is.
Ford did put me in his intro. But, I mean, 40...
Ford, you're going to have to share this intro. I want to see this intro now.
You're going to laugh, but yeah. I mean, I guess that's what I get for constantly bothering him about it, but I'm always at work, and then when you stream, it isn't but for 71 minutes, because you decide to go hard into a wall in the Porsche curves at Le Mans 3 races in a row.
Yeah. Here comes Brian Craig to the line. Not many drivers left out there on the lap. Cherry Moore down in 14th, the last man to finish a lap. Is this going to be pole for Mirko Ricci? Out of the championship reckoning now. Just wants to try and get as many race wins under his belt. Cherry Moore to the line and moves up to P4. Great lap at the very end there, but a pole position point going the way of that of Mirko Ricci. So that takes another point away from Wolski for the others to not allow Wolski to pull ahead, doesn't it, there?
Yeah, Richie kind of holding Wolski at bay, but his championship rival of Greaves, Stardog, quite a, well, not terribly down the order, but there's a little bit of air between the Wolski and the two of them.
If you had to pick somebody to win this race, who would you go for?
Oh. That is a very, very solid question. But if Richie can get everything together, I think that it'll definitely be him. Wolski, I don't think, has the outright pace, even though he did have the fastest lap of the race in the sprint race. But yeah, I might try for Richie.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go for Wolski. I just think that BMW is going to be better around the curbs here. Bronze, I think Bronze is a little bit more obvious of who's possibly going to win.
30 seconds.
Still kind of close. Give me Simcoe.
Yeah, that's who I'm going for as well. I think Simcoe's going to do it. Right, so 20 seconds. We're getting ready onto the grid. So it is Mirko Ricci from Wolski, Simcoe from Cherry Moore, Greaves from Stardog, Popovic from Juarez, Dusan from Petrovic, Coates from Broome, Clauble from Krippeljan, Smith from Stapley, Flores from Craig, Tucker from Privet, with Richard Betterson at the back. We have actually lost a driver because we did have 22. We're now down to 21, so I'm not sure who we've lost there. We said something last night. I was going to mention something about Patrick Leger, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, we've lost a subscriber. That's a shame. What was we going to mention about Patrick Leger?
Oh, that he's gone ahead and pre-retired from the rest of the season and retired as a commentator.
What did we say last night? Oh, I remember. Because I mentioned it too. I said, it's a shame you didn't join me for commentary last Thursday night, Wellington. Because isn't it funny that when Patrick Leger doesn't race, his team and Michael Harris win a race outright?
So that means that if Harris doesn't show up, Patty will win, right?
No, don't be silly.
No, I mean, might just be the first one to the garage, but we'll leave it at that.
That requires him finishing the race, doesn't it? Right, race 2 getting underway. We joke because we love Patrick, don't worry.
Yes, I absolutely love him.
Yeah, we do miss Paddy in the comms box. It's been a great addition to the comms box. He might be more in the commentary box next season for Pro-Am. And then you might find myself and Beef on the Thursday night doing the pro commentary.
Yeah, depends on school and work.
And then I do have somebody lined up from Lap Legends to commentate with me on the Tuesday night for the LMU series. That'll be interesting as well.
Who? Lap Legend who? I'm sorry.
I need to actually reply to the guy because I forgot to reply to him all day. Just Chili is his Discord name.
That might be the
Nick.
team
It's
owner
Nick.
of
Yes,
Lap
the owner of
Legends,
Lap
Nick
Legends.
Silva.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to have to message him back later on. We'll get something sorted, so we could have a full season where I'm not commentating at night on my own. That'll be absolutely lovely. And if anybody, by the way, is around Donington Park on the 29th and 30th of this month, then please come and say hello. I'll be at the commentary box at Donington Park doing the circuit commentary. I'll post some links to the circuit commentary in the chat. There's also, I believe, which will be streamed as well, a 5-hour Enduro KA race. If you know what a Ford KA is, 5 hours of them racing. Some lovely team names, good team names out there. Good afternoon to Kucha in the chat. And let's see what happens in this one then as we move further forward here. I've just been sent the intro as well, so I'll take a look at that intro after this race because I don't want to play it with the sound coming through on the stream, so I'll look at that after the race. Thank you, Beefy, for that one.
No problem. And Ford went ahead and sent me screenshots. He has Jimenez 1 as me and Jimenez 2 as, well, we call him Gordon. They call him Arctic, or the kid that's fast in a stroller, meaning Ramsey, because at the time he was the youngest. But do your thing, Matt.
Yep, do our thing. Race 2, penultimate round of the season is about to get underway. It was Hunt who had the disconnection. He's back in, starting from the pit lane. We are green and go for the final time tonight. Mirko Ricci gets a great launch at the start. Already Sam Greaves looking to make a move on Simcoe. Carnage as the Ferrari of Juarez has hit around that of Cherry Moore from 4th. And there is a pile up at turn number 1. We've not got this race barely going. And already the top part of the the field has split away. Wolski coming under pressure from Simcoe, though. In towards turn number 3 they go for the first time. That'll help Hunt out with damage to other cars in this race. Sam Greaves moves up into 4th. Popovic got away with it as well. Stardog has had a spin. Is down at the back of the field with only Hunt behind him. But Mirko Ricci did exactly what he needed to do at the start of this race.
Yeah, almost a perfect getaway from Ricci, and now he has a ton of air between him and Wolski. So I think if Ricci again keeps his head cool, it could kind of be what we saw at Spa or at Valencia, where he pretty much just checks out from the get-go.
Well, we'll see what happens here. Sam Greaves coming under pressure from Popovic. It's from Popovic down of Juarez that was involved in the incident. That's where the gap then lies. As Popovic putting Greaves under pressure. Then it's Juarez, Coates, Claubel, Neil Broom from Stapley, Flores, Brian Craig, Bettison, Privet, Kruppeljan's around again. Championship protagonist around at the hairpin. Gonna lose out to Cherry Moore, it looks like, as well. No, gets back on the circuit before Cherry Moore can come through. Stardog having a nightmare. Hunt having a nightmare as well. And Sam Greaves trying to do what he can to get this championship back for the 4Q drivers. Obviously, they're out of contention at the moment, but penalties lingering overhead. The points are always provisional until they get posted on the Discord or on our social media platforms. Sam Greaves, though, coming under immense pressure from Popovic at the moment. Claubel trying to get onto the rear of Coach. Stapley has dropped off the back of Broom, who's second place currently in that bronze category of racing. Bettison all over the back of Brian Craig. Is he going to have a look up the inside? No, he's not. We've then got Tucker chasing down Privet with Petrovic being hassled on the rear by Rob Smith in the Nissan itself. Further down the field, though, Stardog on the rear of Kruppeljan as Cherry Moore is into the pit lane straight away at the start of this race.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate for Cherry Moore. I just caught the tail end of it because I was going to see if there's going to be any chaos towards or between Ricci and Wolski, but both of them got away clean. But yeah, hopefully Sam Greaves can maybe try and work with Popovic to catch up to that of Simcoe and try and reel in Wolski, but Wolski's doing exactly what he's done all season. Even though he doesn't have the fastest car, he still finds a way to put himself within the top 5 and just stay there the entire race.
Let's see if he can continue this one. 56 minutes left on the clock. Cherry Moore's done his pit stop but has gone a lap down. That's not the worst thing because he can use the leaders to come back through. Tucker gaining on the rear of Privet. We've got Bettison gaining all over the rear of Brian Craig. You can see a bit of damage on these cars as well. As here comes Tucker. And you've got Smith and Doosan and Petrovic all duking it out in the background. Oh, Tucker just bouncing off the turn 1 curb, spins himself around, and round he goes. Through goes out of Doosan. Where is Kruppeljan? Is this going to be an extra place for him? Yes, it is. And for Keenan Stardog, and potentially for Hunt, who gets through as well. So Mark Tucker there, just a little too aggressive over the turn 1 inside curb, and round goes the car.
Yeah, kind of easy to do, especially in a lower car like the Lamborghini, and I would say even the McLaren, it's kind of easy to do it. But just very, very unfortunate for him. Looked to have a pretty decent car.
Yeah. Sam Greaves coming under pressure from Popovic. Wolski's got the fastest lap of the race here as well, by the way. So Wolski already setting that early pace in this one. Claubel trying to get on the back of Coates here in this race. So we'll see what Gary Claubel can do. We've got Flores gaining on Royden Stapley. Bettison still gaining on the back of Brian Craig without making too many inroads. Doosan hassling the back of the Nissan now of Rob Smith. And you've got Stardog gaining on Kruppeljan, but Stardog got a little bit of front and rear damage, almost into the back of Kruppeljan there, coming through the hairpin corner. Hunt's already gained up 2 places. That's what he needs to do. But Popovic putting Greaves under some immense amount of pressure at this moment in time in this race. Needs to just carry on keeping on that pressure because Greaves, he doesn't have the pace in the top 3. He's already 2.3 seconds behind them, as Ricci now has the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, maybe Greaves is just trying to save his tires and just fuel up at the pit stop. Or maybe he is pushing as hard as he can, still doesn't have that a little bit more of pace. But Again, if I was Greaves, I would try and sit back, maybe save my tires, and try to outsmart him on the pit stop. Because even though the Lambo is good on tires, I feel like it overheats them. Then, of course, the BMW has this phenomenal drop-off phase where you do 2 laps, and then the next lap, it feels like you're... I'm not going to say what I mentioned on Gordon's stream yesterday, but it feels like you're on an ice rink.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and hopefully for Sammy, well, I say this, I think the opposite for Sam. I think Sam needs to be all-out aggression to try and get as close to Wolski as he possibly can. He's not going to want to lose too much time over Wolski because he knows that Wolski is his mark in this championship, so needs to get as close to him as possible for that championship fight. Rob Smith now gaining on Petrovic once again, with Duffin just behind him. They're on the back of Privet as well. Rob Smith actually gets a run on Petrovic here out the final corner on the outside line for turn 1. Not necessarily a bad thing through the outside of turn 1. Petrovic breaks a little later. He had a look at Chris Privet himself there. Rob Smith gets tucked back underneath, and it's now going to be the outside for turn 2. A little bit of contact there, pushing Rob Smith onto the grass, opening the door for Duffin, and Duffin and Rob Smith contact. Rob Smith is off and in the gravel as Wolski retakes back the fastest lap of this race. Greaves can't stick with the front runners, but has pulled away now from Popovic, so now is his chance to maybe start to close that gap while he's not under any pressure. Clauble within half a second of Coates now. Flores 8/10 off the back of Stapley, and Bettison just cannot get past Brian Craig at the moment.
Yeah, Brian Craig making that the widest Lambo. I mean, the track kind of helps with defense, but still, Bettison not able to get past. But I feel like if Johnson was here, he probably would have thrown it up the inside of Craig with how good he makes those Lexus brakes look.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, to be fair. He seems to be one driver that really gets them Lexus brakes looking really nice. I know they're not that good in terms of when you are sending it to get it slowed down quick, but Johnson somehow makes it work. Popovic back within 7/10 of Sam Greaves. Further down the order, 7/10 between Brian Craig and Bettison, as we've said. And there's still this train of cars behind that of Privet. Petrovic, Duffin, Kruppeljan trying to get closer. Cherry Moore trying to unlap himself. Stardog still within half a second of Kruppeljan, and he's got
Petrovic all the way down to the inside, hits that of Privet, almost collects Duffin. Cherry Moore gets collected.
Yeah, Cherry Moore involved as well, so already been in the pits a lap down. Cherry Moore's been collected as well. Well, Hunt won't mind that because he's gained an extra couple of places there of that of, I believe, Petrovic and Privet. Yes, he has. That's 2 more places for Hunt, who started from the pit lane. Flores gaining on the back of Royd and Stapley here. Popovic back all over the rear wing now of the Mercedes-Benz of Sam Greaves. But what a shame there for Petrovic and that of Privet. But that promotes Kruppeljan, Stardog and Hunt in this race. And Kruppeljan all over the rear of that Ferrari of Kruppeljan. But he has got Hunt within a second now.
Yeah, he's going to be under pressure in just a little bit, but who knows? Maybe Stardog might force Kruppeljan into a mistake, or if he's close enough, I feel like the Mustang has just slightly better brakes, and he might be able to maybe put a little dive bomb on Kruppeljan.
Not close enough at this moment in time. Popovic all over the back of Sam Greaves once again. Wolski's got the gap to a second now to Mirko Ricci. So Wolski just starting to wind the BMW up a little bit and starting to unleash its potential maybe around this circuit. Wolski wants to win this championship as soon as he possibly can. Coates and that of Clauble, who've been within a second most of this race, they're gaining on the back of the 420 Ferrari of Juarez in this one here then. So they're trying to make some moves further forward. Bettison still on the back of Brian Craig. Stapley still on the back of Flores. And Stardog has just lost out to Kruppeljan a little bit and has got that of Hunt a little bit closer to him. Privet into the pits. And Petrovic has got Rob Smith within 0.2 of a second. But Stardog here just hasn't had the look, but also just doesn't seem to have had the pace as well in this race.
Yeah, just not necessarily the pace per se. As oh man, my mom's calling me. 2 seconds, Matt.
No problem, buddy. As here comes Stardog then down in towards turn number 1. Kruppeljan on the back of him, just bouncing over the chicane. Hunt waiting in the wings. Wolski's gaps back up to 1.2 seconds. Yeah, I started with 57. Wrong chat. Afternoon, guys. Afternoon, John. Or afternoon, John, as you've typed out. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Here comes Popovic, and on the back of that of Greaves at the moment. Coates in 7th place, getting closer to the back of Juarez here. In towards the final chicane. Coates gets a little bit closer, can't do anything about it. Bettison still trying to get past out of Brian Craig, and we've still got this battle. Oh, Stardog lights up the rears in the Mustang, drops it at the hairpin, and Hunt goes through. He's not going to need a second invitation. Hunt moves up to 17th place. So that is a bit more points over the Greasy Bandits team. Crucial for that Constructors' Championship between the 3 teams at this moment in time. Rob Smith trying to get onto the back of Petrovic as Bettison still close to that of Brian Craig. Oh, and out front, Wolski. So just as Hunt gains some points over Stardog, Wolski gets within a second now of Mirko Ricci.
All right, I'm back. Yeah, Wolski definitely seems to have his tires up to 10th, just a little bit quicker than that of Richie. But Lambo doesn't have the outright top speed of the BMW, but luckily on Zolder it's very, very tight and technical. But Wolski had about a second between the two of them, and that's now down to half a second. And if I had to assume in this third sector, probably closing in very, very quickly at that.
Wolski's just going to be able to take more of the inside curbs than Mirko Ricci. You can just see the way that BMW just eats the curbs. The front engine car's really good around Zolder. John knows all about that. Wolski just trying to be a little bit of a nuisance. Rob Smith is in the pits at the moment, as is the 12 of Petrovic. With them two had a bit of a coming together, I wonder there. Wolski getting closer at this moment in time. Dewson is now gaining on the back of Brian Craig as Richard Bettison has got past, and Hunt's going to try and chase after these two in this fight. Coates is on the back of Juarez with Clarbel coming right with him once again as well. So an interesting fight between these three, but Wolski at the moment has just lost a tenth or two coming through the first couple of corners. Evening to Alistair Cummins in the chat. John's typing on his phone, that's why he put Afton Con. I hope you had a good race, John. I know you was racing tonight, so you had a good race there. Coates, though, gaining on the back. Look at this train of cars, and this is all behind that of Juarez. Rob Smith, being a lap down, has just come out in the middle of this train, just ahead behind Clarbel and ahead of Neil Broom. Simcoe leading in bronze, Broom second in bronze, from Stapley in third. And Kruppeljan's race tonight for that bronze championship has just not gone how he wanted it to. Remembering, drop scores are now done, so these results will not count towards drop scores.
Yeah, unfortunately, it can't be helped out by the drop scores, as you had just mentioned, but definitely a night for Kruppeljan to forget about. But hopefully he can get everything sorted, have a really, really good setup for Darlington, at least try and go out on at least a bronze podium before he potentially and highly likely gets promoted up to that of silver.
Couldn't agree more. Well done, John, on the win. Can't wait for racing around here tomorrow unless someone swipes me. Did I not tell you? John Leon Fernie's racing tomorrow night in the Pro Series. Wolski's within 0.4 of a second now. Back down to Coates and Juarez and Clarbel. Broom's just dropped off a little bit because he was behind Rob Smith. He's now put the lap on him. Dewson looking to the inside line. On mad of Brian Craig further down the circuit. This is into turn one. Dewson has a little wiggle, just clips the side of Brian Craig that delays Craig coming through the corner. Wolski's gap goes back over half a second to Mirko Ricci, but that looks a lot closer than half a second. And into the second chicane, look at how much Wolski closes compared to Mirko Ricci going through and over the curbs. The Lamborghini just cannot deal with them as well as Wolski's BMW. And all of a sudden, that gap opens back up because Ricci was so slow. Wolski couldn't carry the momentum through the chicane. And the gap opens back up to Mirko Ricci here now.
Yeah, Wolski just seems to, again, be better over the curves. But I feel like Ricci has a better acceleration. Yeah. Almost every time out of the last corner, Wolski has a little bit of a slide. And Ricci could just put the power down and go.
Just wondering as well if, because Ricci is a bit slower, it is just delaying Wolski getting his foot on the power when he wants to, which means he's putting it flat to the floor quick, and that's what's causing that little bit of a slide. Wolski as close as he's been so far in this race. 15 minutes have gone on the clock. We've seen 2 pit stops be completed. Petrovic is back out on the circuit, and we'll see what happens in this one. Which one? Smoky Devil or Ramy Fernie or Leon Fernie? I didn't realise they was both still racing, to be fair. As here comes Wolski down towards the first chicane of 2. He can really capitalise here because he can take a lot more chicane than the Lamborghini. Doesn't utilise that, keeps it going as he is at the moment. Popovic back on the rear of Sam Greaves. Coach still putting Juarez under pressure now, but just can't find a way through. Tricky to overtake at this circuit. Hunt's on the rear of Brian Craig, but it really is tricky to overtake at this circuit.
Yeah, I haven't had the pleasure of riding around here on a motorcycle, and almost everything on 2 wheels is much harder to do on 4 wheels. Don't come at me, Matt. But yeah, very, very technical circuit. Kind of, I don't want to compare it to Monaco, but I feel like I have to, or very similar to Miami.
Yeah.
It's about as close as I could put it. Very, very just technical. Almost feels like you have a breather and then there's a sequence of corners and just that on and off the entire time.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. Clauble, who's dropped off the back of Coates a little bit. Hood still sticking to the back of Brian Craig. You've got to be committed into an overtake around here. You can't half-arse a move around here. You've really got to be committed into the overtakes around this circuit, and that's the crucial thing to see what these drivers can do. Wolski has lost a couple more attempts to that of Mirko Ricci. It's up to 0.8 of a second now, so Ricci's got to move on with this again. And Ricci out the championship contention, so Wolski won't need to do too much to win this race. He'll obviously want to win the race, but he knows that second place with his championship rivals behind him is great for the championship.
Yeah, absolutely, and his teammate Stardog down in 16th. So if they want to get the team's championship just a little bit quicker, Stardog is gonna probably need to, well, I can't necessarily say to remove the restrictor, but I'm pretty sure Stardog is wishing that he could remove it. But he's closing in on this fight with Hunt and Craig, and then they have about 3 seconds to that of Duffin, but it doesn't look like Hunt is necessarily trying to go for a move as he shoots down the inside, cuts the first part of the chicane, causes Craig to cut the second part of the chicane, and now, just like that, Stardog is just about with them.
Yep. John's asking, what about a bike with stabilizers? They have 4 wheels.
John, I think you forget that I'm a British Superbike World Champion.
He's still asking about a bike with stabilisers. They have 4 wheels. I'm backing John up on this comment. Bikes with stabilisers are better than bikes with 2 wheels. Here goes Popovic around the outside. I don't get bikes. I don't understand it.
You don't like eating the pavement.
No, I value my life. Popovic gaining on Sam Greaves here.
Oh.
Yeah, what else is happening actually? Clauble, Coates has dropped off the back of Juarez. Clauble's dropped off the back of him. Betterson on the back of Stapley now, and Hunt still close to the back of Brian Craig, but can't yet make that move at the moment because he's not got close enough where you've really got to commit to making a move up the inside.
Yeah, I saw Hunt lagging a little bit heading into that of turn 1, and it made him look like he was closer than what he was, and then I guess either his internet or the server kind of settled down and gave him the gap that we are currently looking at. But Stardog still closing in on this, and again, Mustang brakes probably the best in all of ACC. So I don't know, maybe he could cause a little bit of chaos and throw it up the inside and get past both of them, and then leave Hunt and Craig pretty much with their pants down, I would
having
say.
a look up the inside of Brian Craig. Doesn't get the move done. Gets it stopped on the apex. Stardog again, a little twitch. That's what cost him to lose out to Hunt with that little wiggle on the exit of the hairpin. Neil Broom into the pits. So 20 minutes into this race, Neil Broom is in. And Hunt there, well, I don't know if he was meant to pit, but he's coming in either way. As into the pits he comes. Richard Bettison, oh, wrong button there. Richard Bettison still trying to gain on that of Royden Stapley in the Bentley. But can't do so at the minute. There's not a long enough straight, I feel like, today for the Lexus to capitalise on.
I mean, I think the closest that you could get is having a good run out of turn 3, but you won't. It's very, very hard to get a stop for that chicane, even though it's not terrible over the bumps.
Yeah.
But I think that heading down into the first chicane is the best opportunity.
Something's just happened to Juarez here because he's dropped down the order behind Coates, Clarbel and Flores into 9th place. He's got Royden Stapley all over the rear of him. He's got rear damage, but that could have been from the opening lap. We saw that he hit Cherry Moore, who was retired from this race, by the way. Oh, Stapley, big snap, middle of the second chicane. Still a little twitchy. Bettison all over the rear of Royden Stapley now. And is this Bettison's opportunity? Up the hill they climb towards the hairpin. Is this Bettison going to think of sending one up the inside of the Bentley? Yes, he does. Richard Bettison moves through. Great little move, and the Lexus up to P10.
Yeah, I mean, even though it's just a simple little dive bomb, the Lexus, I feel, makes it about 10 times harder to do a dive bomb just because of its lack thereof when it comes to braking performance.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Fully with you on that one. I think you're spot on with it. Popovic still hassling the back of Sam Greaves here, by the way, and just cannot find a way through at the moment. But is really hassling the back of that BMW. And really wants to try and get another move done to move up another place onto the podium. He's lost out a little bit of time here, though, as Clarbel on the back of Coates now for P6. We'll see if Coates and Clarbel can, now that they've cleared that Ferrari, get onto the back of the two ahead of him. Simcoe in no man's land. Well behind the front two, excuse me. Well behind the front two, but 6 seconds clear of Sam Greaves, so he's just in no man's land, Wellington, at the moment.
Yeah, just kind of pitter-pattering around. And, I mean, yeah, just no man's land. Pretty sure has a little bit of music going on in the background. But this is what he needs to do in order to capitalize on Kruppeljan's pretty poor night thus far.
It has been a pretty poor night for Kruppeljan so far. Juarez and Starlog have both pitted, as well as Neil Broom and Hunt. So Hunt has been into the pits and looks like he is going to jump that of Keenan Starlog, who's just come off the limiter now. This might be a little tighter than we thought. Neil Broom is going to jump and stay ahead of Starlog and that of Juarez. And there goes Coates to put a lap on him. Where is Hunt over that of Stardog? Hunt gets ahead of Stardog and has to be careful here because Gary Clarbel is trying to put a lap on Hunt. And Hunt stayed well out of the way, gave him plenty of space, but Clarbel just understeered wide. And now that Clarbel and Coates battle has sort of fizzled out a little bit. Sam Greaves still got Popovic back within half a second. Stapley and Doosan. Doosan's just gone underneath Stapley, so Doosan moves up another spot. And that moves him forward once more.
Yeah, now up to second in bronze. And Kruppeljan, well, Kruppeljan's just now coming through that of turn 2, and just now onto the straight towards the chicane. So he's got a lot of time if he wants to get onto this bronze podium. But again, I wouldn't count him out. He's been quick all season long, and sometimes, even though he has a poor qualifying, still finds a way to come out on the podium. And we've seen a couple of times find a way to actually win.
Yeah, this is true. Indeed he has. As here comes Hunt. He's let Clarbel go, and then Clarbel, I believe, has pitted. So Gary Clarbel has come into the pits. Doosan now trying to gain on Bettison. 7/10 of a second that gap. Doosan's been pretty quick tonight. Doosan's looked really quick tonight.
Yeah, he has, and of course can't count out Simcoe. But Duffin just seems to have that Mercedes almost almost pitch perfect. Looks very, very good on the brakes, very, very good on the curbs and the bumps. So hopefully he can capitalize on it. Currently running second in bronze, so let's just hope that he can stick it there for the next 34 minutes. And I believe that's Bettison off and into the wall, yes, at turn 3.
It is Bettison off and into the wall, so Duffin was just behind Richard Bettison there. And like I say, Bettison has been off. We have had another retirement in this race. No, we haven't. It's Hunt. I think Hunt's had a disconnection here because he's dropped out the server down ahead of Stardog. So you said you saw Hunt lagging earlier. He was out of the server before qualifying. Stop-go penalty speeding in the pit lane. Gary Clauble, that has ruined his race. And Bettison still yet to get going at the moment. Spins it around now to get it back going, hopefully. And Bettison will hopefully come back into this race. Or is he going to call that one a day? Because he stopped the car once again. And Sam Greaves now has pulled a bit more clear of Popovic. Just doesn't have the pace of the top three. What's happening between the leaders? Mirko's got the fastest lap back. But Wolski's gaining on him a little bit more here. And we have lost Richard Bettison.
Yeah, it wouldn't let me click on his name, so I think that might be a retirement from him. But yeah, Wolski and Richie still almost neck and neck. Kind of a little, might need a big blanket to cover the two of them, but there's been a couple times where Wolski almost right in the mirror of Richie.
Yeah, we'll see what Wolski can do. He's dropped back to 9/10 of a second, back behind Mirko Richie in this race. Not really anything else happening. This is the closest fight on circuit at the moment, but pit stops have taken shape. Clauble, though, with that stop go, that may allow Kruppeljan to get the jump over Clauble in this race to be able to pull that little bit further. Claw a couple more points back in this race itself. And we'll see if Hunt is able to get back in. But Bettison and Cherrymore retirements. We'll see if Hunt gets back in. Steve never got here tonight, so work run too late, and Steve's obviously not got back in time for this race. Clauble in for that stop-go penalty, though, now. Wellington, as we're approaching the half distance in this race.
Yeah, I feel like at least on ACC, the races feel much, much longer than LMU. If this was an LMU race, I mean, we would have been seeing the checker flag, it feels like. But yeah, it's been very, very entertaining so far. And still another 30 minutes for these drivers to work out the strategy and maybe find themselves in a battle.
Well, Duson's into the pits. Clauble's in for that stop go. So Duffin is coming down pit lane now. So we'll see where he will come out of the pit lane then. Wolski's back over a second now to Mirko Richie. So Wolski seems to get really close to Richie, doesn't he? And then just has whatever little error that he has and just drops all the way back down again.
Yeah, a couple of laps ago, I saw him run just a little bit wide on the exit of the second chicane. So I think that's what's helping Richie out, is that Wolski is having a bunch of self-made mistakes and runs a little bit wide, then has to not get the track limit warning. Slows down a lot. So I think Richie is kind of hoping that Wolski keeps making all these micro mistakes.
Well, let's see what Richie can do, because he's out that championship running now, so it's nothing to lose really for Mirko Richie. It's all about now just trying to win races.
Yeah, just kind of, if you can't win the championship, at least just, put your name on the side of the, or reward yourself with a trophy. I couldn't remember the full analogy for that.
Richard Bettison having a problem with wheel and internet. Now, I did see Bettison in that first race, didn't we? We did see him leave and come back in, and he was off on the opening lap.
I feel like we had a few more disconnects. We're only down to 18 drivers.
I'll have a look. We've lost a minute. Let me double check who we've lost then. Clauble is still out there. Greaves still goes. So Richie, Wolski, Simcoe, Greaves, Coates, Popovic. Popovic is gone. So that must have been another disconnection there then. And Popovic, who was on the back of Sam Greaves for the position, has been disconnected. Drive-through for Coates for track limits. And he's yet to do his pit stop at the moment. So huge there for Coates in this race.
Yeah, but I don't know. Some drive-throughs are blessings in disguise. Could maybe get him out of traffic, and then after you serve the drive-through, maybe try and do your pit stop and just go from there. Because I don't know if you have the paper for it, as Richie is now in for his stop, the 23 of Tucker, around just before the first chicane. But yeah, maybe this puts Coates in a place without a lot of traffic that allows him just to push. Again, I can't remember how long the drive-through is for here. Probably not as awful as it is at Mazzano. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Coates plays this. But now Flores running up in 6th. I don't think that we've seen him this high up in a while.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you. To go with his podium as well, Mirko Ricci's done his pit stop. Flores has gone through, Craig's gone through, Stapley's gone through. Mirko Ricci's coming out the pit lane now into a clear track before the 181 of Clarbel comes to him. So Clark will be in a couple of laps down as well. So Wolski's done his pit stop and he's got a good clear track in front of him here as Wolski now to keep his foot down and do some laps. Wolski into the pits to answer straight back here as Royd and Stapley trying to get onto the back of Brian Craig at the moment.
Oh, just scrolling down, I found a battle with Jiraj and Stardog. Jiraj going defensive, Stardog gonna try the outside, pinch of contact towards the apex. Stardog now has the inside, gets tapped by Jiraj, almost spins, manages to save it. So I think Jiraj just shut the door a little too quick on that of Stardog, but he still has a very, very quick Ford Mustang, so I would give it another couple of laps. Maybe Stardog will be right back up there, but he has a little bit of a slide coming out of turn 1.
He's lost out to Doosan as well, as everybody else is now into the pit lane, so he's lost out to Doosan as well. Mirko Ricci coming into the final chicane now, and Wolski has only just gone green, so that to me could say that Wolski has taken tyres there, because Wolski's on his way. In fact, no, he's off the limiter, so maybe not. Where is Wolski about to come out of the pits? Has that one lap extra for Wolski got the jump over Mirko Ricci? There comes Wolski out the pit lane, and indeed it has. Wolski will lead this race. He's jumped Mirko Ricci in the pits, and now Wolski leads. The strategy he has pulled off there has been an absolute blinder, and Wolski into the lead of this race.
Yeah, that's exactly what Wolski needed. If you don't have the outright pace to match Richie, see if you could beat him in the pits. And Wolski, almost to a T, manages to get that. But Coates still not in for his drive-through. I believe he's going to do it at the end of this lap.
He's in now.
Yes.
Yeah, into the pits he comes now. So just him and Brian Craig with Mark Tucker also to pits. Juras here is got Doosan on the back.
Petrovic as well, but he is 2 laps
that's
down.
True, yeah, Petrovic as well. Come on, Wolski says Hypertech in the chat, aka John Goudet in the chat. So obviously cheering on his Greasy Bandits driver there. As Tucker and Petrovic, like you say. So we have lost Popovic, who's not come back in. And we'll see what will happen as this race unfolds. But the crucial thing now is Mirko Ricci, he's been able to stay ahead of Wolski for the first half an hour. He's now got to be the one to do the overtaking.
Or at least attempt to overtake, because if Wolski wasn't able to get past, then Ricci might have a tough time. Although Ricci is a very, very aggressive driver and occasionally makes moves stick, other times they're a little bit rough around the edges, but he still has another 25 minutes, give or take, to find a way around Wolski.
He does indeed. So let's take a look and see what will happen in this one. see who will be able to do what as this race unfolds, as it continues to go on here. But so far, it's been a cracking night of racing action. Wait to see what will unfold as this race goes on. Wolski's now got to be the aggressive driver in terms of getting past. Juarez has still got Duffin on the back of him. And we'll see what Duffin can do in this race as we go further forward. A little quiet one, this one today at the moment. Wellington, it's not been, obviously the 15-minute sprint was all frantic and all go towards the end, but this one, not as many cars on the grid, a few retirements. It's all of a sudden just quietened it down a little bit, with it being difficult to overtake here.
Yeah, very similar to the Nürburgring a few weeks ago. Kind of reached a point where all the action dulled down, I guess you could say. Yeah. And you have a couple little battles here and there, but nobody willing to have a big risk and go for a move. So all just cool, calm, and collected. Probably going to be easy night for the stewards, if I had to guess. Minus the sprint race, that was quite chaotic.
It was a little chaotic, wasn't it? It was a little chaotic indeed. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's going to be an interesting race for sure to see what will unfold in this one. So yeah, I have just sent you a DM, by the way, on Discord, so just have a quick check that and get back to me when you can. But Flores all over the back. No, in fact, Flores has passed Tucker as Duffin, like you say there, nearly into the back of Juarez.
Very, very close.
Oh, this is interesting. Wolski's on the rear of Coates out front. This is for second place on the road. Coates is yet to do his pit stop. Obviously, this will be because he's done that drive-through. So Wolski on the rear of Coates for position. Now, if anything was to go wrong here, he's got Mirko Ricci sat right behind him, waiting to pounce. Coming through turn number one, there you go. Here comes Mirko Ricci then, trying to attack the rear of Wolski as Wolski's attacking Coates. Coates doesn't need to get out the way. He's still fighting for position here. But obviously has that pit stop to think about and is just being a little bit of a nuisance to Wolski. Nothing in the rules. This is for position, so it's not blue flags. This is just purely for position. So, no, you know, Wolski will be getting frustrated. Pulls out, has a look on Coates, sends one up the inside. Maybe sends one a little too hard. And that's the frustration you can see. That would have given him a track limit warning. And Coates has come flying back past him. And now Mirko Ricci's all of a sudden right on the rear. And Wolski doesn't need to get flustered. Doesn't need to get frustrated. He can easily defend this lead while not trying to attack from Coates. But he just is. And as much as he can get frustrated with this, it is all for position.
Yeah, it's all fair game, even though Coates still is yet to do his stop. But Ricci got probably the closest he's been to Wolski since they finished their pit stops, all because of Wolski shortcutting the first chicane. But Coates is now in, so I'm pretty sure Wolski is taking a deep breath and he's going to try and reset. But now between Ricci and Wolski, it's all there to play for.
Yeah. Remember, if you like what you see here, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are one away from 1,350. Hit the bell to be notified when we go live. We'll be back live tomorrow night for the Pro Series around this circuit. Goudet, make sure you've confirmed for that one before tomorrow night. As well as go and check out our fantastic sponsor, Designed Manchester, who are our biggest partner and supporter here at SimPlay. They are producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing, and much more. Head over to Facebook and search for Designed Manchester there. Juarez here has got Duffin on the rear of him, but without being able to make a look here. And Wolski coming under that bit of pressure now from Mirko Ricci, just a little bit more. Do you think Wolski has it in him to pull away from Mirko, though?
I think that I think the gap is going to maintain. They are very evenly matched. Ricci closed in about 3/10 that last lap. And now it's gone back up to 5/10, but yeah, genuinely think that the gap is going to maintain about 0.3 to about half a second, as Coates now has a stop go 30 for speeding into the pit lane. Tucker is now in, so just waiting on when Craig decides to pull the trigger, but he's going to fall quite a ways down.
So,
because Wolski, Richie are immediately on the back of him. Simcoe, Greaves not terribly far out either. So I feel like he might drop to about 5th, maybe 6th place.
well, it's going to hurt him because he's now got to... he's done a drive-through. Now he's got the stop coach, so it's going to drop Coates down the order a little bit more in this one, sadly for him. So we'll see what happens there. But let's see what will play out as this race goes on then here. Wolski has got Richie behind him. Going to just drop down back to Juarez, who's got Duffin and Stardog. Stardog, again, just a little twitchy out of that hairpin corner. Already in, thanks, but he says, John, I set alarms now, says Kude. So he's got his alarm set to make sure he's confirmed. He's missed it twice. So he's all good to go for tomorrow night. But Stardog just a little squirrely out that hairpin corner. And he's struggling so far, stick to the back of these two because of that few moments having. Now Wolski's got the same thing here. Look, he's on the back of Brian Craig. Now, if Brian Craig doesn't pit, Wolski's got to bide his time and wait for Brian Craig to either make a mistake or for him to get through. In fact, he's going here. No, he's not. Brian Craig into the pits, so Wolski didn't go.
Yeah, I don't know if Craig was going to pit that lap or if he did it just to get out of Wolski and Richie's way. But now for Wolski, it's all clear track, and Richie is reading every single sponsor that Greasy Bandits car has and going just slightly in and out, probably finding more and more sponsors that are on the back of that car every single time he closes in.
Yep, indeed he is. So let's see what Wolski can do now, whether he can pull away or not in this race. And, yeah, let's find out what Wolski's now made of in terms of his pace in this race, because we know that he's struggled to... Oh, sorry, it's ebbed and flowed in terms of catching and falling off the back of Mirko Ricci. And this is now an interesting one. See what he can do to try and get this one where he wants it to be. Because if he can start to pull away from Mirko Ricci, then he's probably going to be in for the race win here.
Oh, no doubt. But again, we know how quick Richie is and how aggressive he is when he isn't necessarily in the race lead and he's kind of fighting in traffic. But could that aggressiveness maybe cost him the race if he is given the opportunity to pass Wolski? Maybe they go side by side?
Yeah, maybe. We'll wait and see. In fact, let me go further forward to that of Wolski and Richie. Just watching that Doosan fight at the moment, but nothing developing there. They're pulling away from Stardog, though. And, in fact, that's Brian Craig actually dropping down the order after his pit stop, after they've gone through the second time. So Brian Craig's P10. Solid race night for Brian Craig tonight. All that incident in race 1, he's had a pretty good night, hasn't he? Because he was running up the order in race 1 as well.
Yeah, just nice and clean. About all he really could ask for. Just a nice, clean race. No real incident, at least in the feature race.
So then, here goes Doosan now being attacked by Keenan Stardog. So Doosan
Richie hard into the wall.
Oh, he is. Yeah, that's out the first chicane. So as he just sent one too hard, doesn't look to be too bad a damage at the moment. Gets it back going. We'll see as it pulls around, as the camera comes around. But Mirko Ricci, did he just send one too hard there? The damage doesn't look too bad on the front end. He's got away with that.
Just a little bit too much curb on the second half.
I think he's got away with the damage here, to be fair.
Conservative.
So, well, I think he's got away with the damage, Wellington. I definitely think that Mirko Ricci is... Yeah, all right, he's probably not won this race now. He's probably going to have to settle for P2, but he's done all right. Simcoe, once again, by the way. So good from him today.
Yeah, I mean... If he's not promoted up to, well, if he wins the championship, he'll be promoted regardless. But really, really good night from him. And then yet another quiet night from that of Neil Broom in 6th.
Yep.
I remember he had a very, very good night last week out in Suzuka.
He did, yeah. Rob Smith obviously got the podium in race 1. Sadly down in 5th in bronze at the minute. But yeah, Broom, 6th place at the moment. Bearing in mind, Neil Broom lost all these points because he changed car and is already back up to P11 in the points. And he changed car just after the halfway stage of the season, if I'm correct, or just before the halfway stage of the season. So lost half a season's worth of points. Where could Neil Broom have been if he'd have picked this Ferrari from the get-go?
I mean, for all we know, we could maybe see him back down in bronze, or back in the bronze class next season. But again, depends on what Righty thinks and the data that he has.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. In fact, let me take a look at that. Let me take a look at the bits at the moment just to see if I can find... So Simcoe, mainly silver, even registered a couple of golds. Gruppeljan, mainly silver, 1 gold with 2 bronze race paces. Where is Broom? He registered silver, gold, silver, silver, gold, silver. So yeah, Broom could find himself in that silver category next season quite easily at the minute.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all, because if he was silver, that would be 6th place overall. And what about Duffin? Because maybe he'll find himself up in silver.
Duffin's come back because he was away mid-season and didn't think he'd be back for the rest of the season. So he registered silver, bronze, silver, and then registered silver last week. So more silvers than bronze. So I could see Duffin being up in silver as well next year. You know, we could be looking at a smaller bronze grid next season.
Yeah, it definitely feels that bronze has gotten smaller but faster at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Because I remember Pro-Am, like, there was hardly any very, very slim amount of silvers, but a lot of bronze. And now I feel like up in Pro, it's kind of like that. There aren't a lot of platinums, but there's a lot of golds.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. We'll see what happens when Righty does, obviously, when the admins get together, put their heads together and do their meeting, and obviously Righty's data will be taken into consideration in terms of not only the champions will be promoted, but then we'll see who comes down classes, who goes up classes, who comes down from Pro into Pro-Am, who maybe also goes up from Pro-Am into Pro. That's going to be the other thing to keep our eyes on this season. This is the fight, though, for 7th place. Juarez in the Ferrari, Duffin in the Mercedes, Stardog in that Ford Mustang. And keep your eyes on Simcoe, because if Richie does have a little bit more damage than what we think, keep your eyes on Simcoe. 8.4 seconds off the back of Richie, 12 minutes remaining. It's just been a quiet race tonight so far there, Beef.
Yeah, but, I mean, would have liked a little bit of chaos, but I'm pretty sure that some of the Pro-Am drivers are saving that for next week at Donington, where where all these 9 weeks have slowly led to.
Best track in the world. Bettison says I'm definitely not pro. I was just getting your opinion on Donington being the best track in the world.
I just said okay.
Yep.
If it's the full circuit, no. If it's the national circuit,
couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it's up there. It's up there.
Couldn't agree more. iRacing, Legends, Donington Park, National, done.
iRacing Winter Series 1? Question mark, question mark.
Keep your eyes peeled. Not yet. Not yet. Maybe into next year. Who knows? Maybe into next year. There will be an iRacing event coming at the end of this year. For those who enjoy a bit of NASCAR and a bit of banter. The Argent 360 will be coming to SimPlay Motorsport at the end of this year. Duffin just losing out to Juarez a little bit. It just drops a wheel into the gravel. And if you're wondering why it's called the Argent 360, because if you've not seen Pro-Am over the last couple of seasons, Argent does love a 360, and we thought, why not do an oval NASCAR race, 360 laps or miles for Kieran Argent's sake in this one. So tune into that one. That'll be a fun event coming in the off-season. We've not done any LMU fun events in the off-season because we have been working on these new camera packs that I have got, and trying to figure them out, and I've been trying to research on to find some. Found some last weekend, and I've got them up and working, but they're doing additions to them, so I'm going to keep my eyes out for them additions, see if they come during the season or not. But there's not been any fun events, so we'll see what fun events we do in the off-season of ACC. We will try and get one LMU fun event in on that Thursday night. The sign-ups are out if you're in the Discord. They're not open to the public yet, but they are out in the Discord. You're definitely not bronze there, Bettison. You're definitely silver, mate. The sign-ups are out for LMU, which starts in 3 weeks' time. So you're not going to want to miss that one. 8th of
September.
8th of September at Interlagos. You're not going to want to miss out on that. If you haven't registered, get registered already. If the slots say that they're full, if you're seeing that the slots are full, sign up as a reserve. There are, for some reason, there are still 2 reserved GT3 slots, even though it says it's full. So don't worry about that. But you can still register and be placed down as a reserve. There are still 10 hypercar slots left, because we're up to 8, probably up to 9 when somebody who's just messaged me is going to get back up to it as well. So who's going to find out what hypercar they want to drive. This is the only battle on the track at the moment, which is why we're focusing our attention on this fight so far. 9 minutes left in this race, but already sign-up's looking great for next season on LMU.
Yeah, quite nervous to actually drive the hypercars against people again, even though I'm going to finish last, but we'll rock with it, or provisionally last.
You don't know.
Last on track.
You don't know what's going to happen yet. Anything could happen at this moment in time, dude.
Well, somehow I keep getting top 5s, but I feel like most of the hypercar drivers on the normal dailies are goofballs.
This is what I mean. You just don't know what's going to happen. Anything could happen.
Well, most of the hypercar drivers I know on a slightly more personal level, they're quick.
Yep.
Like really, really quick.
Yep.
If you thought that Phipps was fast last season, there's a couple guys that might turn up the heat and they're still 1. I am praying that he does not join.
Who's that?
Because at that point, František Felkman. If he joins, just go ahead and ship the trophy out to the Czech Republic. Don't even bother showing up.
Oh, you never know yet. You never know yet.
Matt, I'll send you a little bit of insight on him.
I trust everything you tell me. Don't worry. I trust everything you tell me. But yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens as this season goes on. But yeah, at the moment, blue flag's being shown to that of Coates. So we'll see what happens in this race, and we'll see if we can get Duffin to make a move on Juarez here, because Stardog's lost out a little bit more to that of Duffin and Juarez. Juarez a little bit deep through the second part of the chicane, and that's just put Duffin on the back of him a little bit more without being too close at this moment in time. Really been a quiet race tonight, and I'm expecting a little bit more of the same tomorrow potentially, due to the fact there's a similar number of cars out there tomorrow as well. But we'll wait and see. John Ford agreed. Send it out now if Fleck is in, says John Ford.
Yeah. Again, Phipps was quick, but František or Felkman is about a second quicker a lap than everyone else.
John says
so I'll just leave it at that. I mean, he surprises us all the time, so.
Duffin still on the rear at the moment of that of Juarez in the Ferrari. Just can't seem to find a way through in this race at this moment in time. So we'll see if Duffin can find a way through. Richie's pulling away from Simcoe, so no need to worry about Richie losing out to Simcoe in this race. Stapley, though, gaining on Brian Craig as well for that final top 10 spot. So Simcoe Stapley trying to gain a few more points in this race. I'd like to say it's to keep him in the championship standings here, but with the points being scored for overall, Simcoe being P3, I don't feel like Stapley's P10 is going to keep him in that championship running much longer.
And who is this again? I'm sorry, I was replying to your message. Stapley. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of have PTSD from the Bentley, so yeah.
Dan will have nightmares about the Bentley at this track. Trust me.
But yeah, Stapley. I think now that we're at the end of the season, we still got one more, but Stapley's had a really, really consistent season. I feel like he's always been in the top 5, maybe even fighting for podiums, as we saw earlier in the season.
Yep.
So, you know, lots of things to look up for next season.
Kind of dipped a little bit mid-season, didn't it? But yeah, I reckon Stapley's going to be an interesting to watch next season. If he's back, obviously we know he did LMU season 1, so we'll see if he comes back for... and I know he's back for LMU season 2, so we'll see if he does come back for ACC next season as well, because that'll be interesting to see if Stapley does pick the Bentley once again also.
Well, if I was him, I would pick the Bentley again, because if you're doing this good, I mean, why change it up?
Exactly. No, I see your point. I get your point. I think it's a really valid point to make. I think it's, yeah, maybe look at the Ford Mustang, though, or the BMW, but like you say, if he's done well in the this well in the Bentley now, who says he's not going to do well in the Bentley later on in seasons to come?
For anybody that is considering the BMW, don't. Plus 31 kilos at Donington. The person at LFM needs to, or who signed off on that on to see themselves out.
Indeed. Brian Craig coming under even more pressure from Stapley at the moment. 4 minutes left on the clock. It does just feel like it's just been a bit stagnated tonight, hasn't it? Wolski's coming up to lap these two as well. Just feel like a really quiet night here tonight, Wellington. Like, not, we've had some great action, but just without a lot happening, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, again, hopefully Pro-Am is saving it all for Donington Park, and we'll have an absolute shocker in a good way of a race, and maybe an unexpected winner. But that's the only thing that I could really think of. But for all we know, 90 minutes of Donington Park could be dull and bland.
Never.
Well, only in the first 2 sectors. The third sector, ugh.
Yeah, fair enough. I get that. Juarez has once again pulled away from Duffin. Back down to Craig and Stapley. Brian Craig's just allowed that of Wolski to go through and put the lap on him. So that's put Stapley back onto the rear now of Brian Craig as they look to try and resume their battle at the moment. Oh, Prestige was thinking about the M4 for next season, but I think it would be the Aston Martin as Brian Craig makes a mistake at the first chicane. Royd and Stapley here looking to the outside now over the crest of the hill. It'll be the inside for the second chicane. Breaks early though and tucks back in behind. So Stapley not wanting to go at it at the moment. Prestige saying that Donington is a blooming great track. It is the best track. That tied with Interlagos.
Yeah, I heard that. VIR's good too. Might just be biased considering it's in my backyard, and I'm going there in 2 weeks for him. So woo!
Yeah, you are. Yeah, be good. That. You bringing me anything back?
Well, I have my little printer now, so I might print you out a couple of photos.
Could you
ship those?
Get me a sticker if you can.
Well, with how hot as balls Virginia is, I don't think that the stickers will survive.
Fair point.
But I'll try.
Yeah, get me a little sticker saying VIR or something like that. I'll take a sticker. Go with my
I'll send you or a t-shirt. That works too. Put it on the wall behind you.
Yeah, with me SimPlay flag. Get that up.
Oh yeah.
I only need to take the flag down when I'm at racetracks here. Brands Hatch and Thruxton for me. Thruxton's a brilliant circuit. Brands Hatch I find slightly overrated because of how tight it is, but I'm a British track lover. So,
see, you only find Brands Hatch boring or dull, considering you haven't gone there for a British Superbike event, and they are about to kick each other off the bikes. Just saying, look at Kyle ride.
You say this, but is it also because I've not commentated there yet? Because Snetterton might be a brilliant circuit now. I've commentated there, especially on Legends.
Well, I've always enjoyed Snetterton, just not in a GT car. Well, I like it in GT4 and GT2, and then of course I've driven down almost every class of bike. But yeah, in GT3, yeah. Ooh, Stapley goes very, very hot into the hairpin, so this allows Craig just to breathe for maybe one more lap as Wolski coming up to the line.
There is only going to be one lap left in this race because Wolski is about to come to the line and is about to start the final lap of this race. Kyle Army is a great track. I do love Kyle Army. I wished it was on more games and platforms, but sadly it's not. But Kyle Army is fantastic. Will it be on the calendar next season? The vote is out for the Patreons and admins to vote on the circuits for next season, which we should have to you over the weekend. So we'll have that on the stream next week. We'll be able to announce next season's calendar and get that one underway. There won't be any dates for it, but we can announce it for sure on what that will bring to next season, season number 12 of ACC Pro-Am and Pro Championship. So stick around in the streams for next week for that one, see what will be on the calendar there.
Would love to see Paul Ricard back.
That's not on the LMU
Love
calendar,
that.
is it? It's not on the LMU calendar, I don't think.
Not on the LMU, no. But, I mean, ACC, I've always enjoyed Paul Ricard, always ran very, very well there. So, I wouldn't mind commentating over it, really check off.
You know what we do need, Beef, because we've not had a single race of that this season. We need a wet race.
Oh, just one by default.
We had the one wet race. We had the wet qualifying at Le Mans. We had the wet race at Fuji. We haven't had a wet ACC race yet. So, come on.
I mean, Donington Park is in
no chance
Britain,
at the minute.
So.
No chance at the minute, dude. It's too hot and dry as Wolski comes across the line to win the race. He has finished in P1 by a country mile from Mirko Ricci, while we was rambling on about wet races. Wolski wins with the fastest lap. Mirko Ricci is going to come across the line to take P2 in this one. Brian Craig has finished down in 10th place. Simcoe in for an outright podium in the bronze category. He's going to come across for P3. Roydon Stapley's finished 11th. Rob Smith has finished down in 12th with Petrovic down in 18th. Simcoe comes across for an outright P3. Sam Greaves on the podium in silver and P4 overall in the race. He's about to be. He's not quite there yet, but he will be about to be P4, which will it just keep him in this championship contention? We'll have a look. Gary Clarble's about to cross the line ahead of him in that of, I believe, 13th place. Somebody's left, so hard to tell. So Sam Greaves does cross the line P4. Diego Flores coming towards the line now as well. This will be for P number 5. And good race for Diego Flores. Good night for Flores. I'll let you think of drivers of the day, because I'm going to let you do the interviews while I input the results and sort out the points and everything for that one. So I'll let you do the interviews. Neil Broom, second place, though, in the Bronze Championship. Good race for Neil Broom. Good result for him. P6 on the road. Juarez finishes P7. Doosan on the podium in bronze as well. Stoddard comes across for P9 as Coates is about to come to the end of his lap and does so there. And while I just take a screenshot and then input the
Well, just to fill the time, I think my silver driver of the day probably gonna have to go to that of Flores. Had a quiet night the entire night. Well, managed to find himself, I don't know if it was 5th or 6th, but within the top 10.
Who's that, sorry?
So that of Diego Flores.
He was 3rd and 5th.
Yeah, again, just very, very solid night from him. And then for bronze, I'm in between Neil Broom and Doosan. So I might lean more towards Doosan. Just literally up there the whole night, had extremely good pace. So, not going to hold anything against him there.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Doosan. Race win for bronze in race 1 and then a podium in race 2. But an honourable mention to Simcoe for outright podium, Neil Broom and Rob Smith, they've drove well. And yeah, I'm also going to go Diego Flores. I think a solid night for Flores in this race. On the outright podium in race 1, P6 in race 2. Good amount of stuff for him. Do we have anybody in for a chat at this moment in time? We do. We've got Doosan and Wolski in there, so I'll let you take over the interviews while I sort out the points.
All right, so gonna start off with Doosan first. Very solid night from you tonight.
Yeah, finally back.
Yeah, so we know how tough Zolder is. Just tight, twisty, and lots of things that can go wrong. But it seemed that you had this car, or that Mercedes, absolutely perfect over some of the bumps and just kind of the entire track.
Yeah, I had a struggle. I take the setup from Go Setups and I didn't like it at all. And then I go on YouTube and I check one guy who's driving 127 and I was like, okay, let's try his setup. And I changed it a little bit by myself also and then starting to gaining on 129 something. I think the best time what I drive today was like 129 300 and I was like happy with it because the car was feeling really, how you say, nicely to drive through all the corners. You can let the steering wheel in the corner and just throttle the gas, and it's still gonna stay on the straight line. It's not gonna spin or it's not gonna go in some different directions what you don't want to do.
Yeah, and I feel like it's just a little bit easier for you because the Mercedes is outright the best car over some of the bumps, only rivaled by that of the Ford.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I had the first race, I mean the first sprint. It was really cool. I hope so. I'm gonna gain a little bit more. And the second, the big race, we had that accident on the beginning, and I finished in a spin, and then somebody parked in front of me. I need to go around, and I still able to gain back later on in eighth position. I think if that didn't happen, I think me and Simco gonna have the really nice race till the end. I have a really nice race with the Jurash also. He was I think seven, and we was like last 15 laps behind each other.
All right. So now I'm gonna switch over to that of the sprint race winner of Coates before I get to the two race winners.
Evening, chaps. Hope we're well.
Coates, another good sprint race from you, but just fell a little bit short in the feature race with a drive-through and a stop go, if I remember. I definitely remember the drive-through, but just
Yeah.
unlucky tonight.
No, I wouldn't even call it unlucky. You know, it's such a shame. I was just messaging Rob actually after the race, and I said that's the best I've driven in such a long time. Like the car was mega. Like it was going over all the curbs, and yeah, just sloppy mistakes. I don't make mistakes going into the pits, but do you know what? I just forgot to brake, which is just ridiculous, really. So yeah, just a silly penalty, and I actually ended the race with 7 track limit penalties, track limit warnings. So I was on the borders of ending up with another one.
Yeah, and I feel like Zolder was one of those tracks very similar to Mazzano, where clear the drive-through and almost immediately back on the verge of another one.
Yeah.
Didn't manage to get the second um drive-through, but still a very well-driven sprint race from you, at least strategy-wise. But yeah, just a couple little mistakes that kind of weighed you down in the feature race.
Yep. Well, we go again next week, and we'll see. We'll see how I can get on at Donny.
And Donnie is the 90-minute Format A. What do you think you could do around there?
Well, it's never been a particularly quick track for me. I've always struggled with a grip around that place. So we'll see. I'll put in plenty of practice, and yeah, we'll see what we can do.
All right, and now over to the bronze race winner, that of Simcoe.
Hello, how's it
Another,
going? Oh,
no, that's my bad. But another
oh no,
overall
sorry.
podium for you. So, just, I mean, wouldn't be surprised if you go up to that silver class, but it seemed that you were able to, I wouldn't even say capitalize, but pretty much bury Kruppeljan and some of the mistakes that he made throughout tonight.
That indeed, I did see in my rear view Cripple Jan a few times spinning out. I do want to say hello to SimPlay. It's my first time actually in the comms box. Sorry, I have not been in the comms box. But yeah, Cripple Jan definitely definitely had a few good races, 7, 8. But I will say, race 9, I do feel bad. But good pace, definitely good pace over the last few races from him.
So now that I don't know what the gap in the championship is, but off to Donington Park next week, where, at least in my experience, the Ferrari is pretty good around there with the lower curbs and whatnot. So what do you think you could do against Kruppeljan there next week?
Well, like Coach said, I'm really not. That's Donington Park isn't my fastest track. I haven't done too many laps around Donington Park actually. So it's gonna be and over the last few seasons I haven't actually been in the last races of Donington Park. So we'll have to see. Honestly, I don't know. Cripple Jam might have the up on this one.
And now, Matt, I'll let you do Wolski's interview.
Yes, indeed, because the news coming from the championship standings, remember, all results are provisional. So wait until the full results get posted on the Discord or on the social media platform. But I can confirm Wolski is provisionally the silver champion and the champion of the Pro-Am season for season number 11. He has taken that tonight with Stardog and Greaves finishing behind him. Wolski is your provisional champion, but again, it will all be confirmed when the stewarding has been done. And as a double bonus for the Greasy Bandits racing team, they have won the Constructors' Championship. Again, all results are provisional, so wait till them standings come out. So Wolski, not only is this an interview to say congratulations on the race win, but as it stands at the moment, you are season 11 champion.
Yeah, great night, guys. Great race, great result. I'm very, very happy. I'm a little bit tired. Great race also from Richie and from John. Yeah, it was very demanding because we were very close on the pace with Mirko. It was like all the race were going together, and then he made a significant mistake, lost it on the curb, like I lost it in the race 1. So yeah, then I just got it to the finish. Yeah, so great race, great pace. I'm very, very happy.
Very, very happy indeed. It's been a long, tough season for you, but now to sort of get that sort of weight lifted off of you, because for the last couple of seasons you've always been fighting for that championship, but you've had the likes of Sam Williams, Gary Leach, Steve Millington at one stage as well over the last couple of seasons, just edging it over you over them. You finally now been the driver who's had Mr. Consistent this season. You've taken 2 race wins. The rest of the season has been so consistent. Bar that one race tonight in race number 1, you've just been doing what you've needed to do this season.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very, very proud for my performance. The rest of guys are very, very quick. So I'm even more proud, because it's not easy to win in this league whatsoever. So I'm even though I was leading the table.
Oh, I believe Wolski has just cut out this. We'll hopefully get him back.
Yeah, I'm
no,
back.
You're back. Sorry, carry on saying what you were saying. Sorry.
Yes. I was leading the table throughout the whole season, but it means nothing because the rest of the guys are very, very quick. It's so demanding to win a race here, to be at the top. So this is not easy job. So I'm very, very proud. I also would like to thank the Greedy Bandit Racing team, and also Keenan Stardog, because he is a wonderful teammate. I also would like to thank my wife and my kids, because they need me on the Wednesday nights, but I'm racing. So yeah, they're the best. So yeah, I'm very very happy. Yeah, it is relief, but also I really enjoyed that race today, because Zolder is not my favorite track. I mean, it's fun to drive, but the death curbs are very very stressful. So yeah, I'm just glad it ended well. Yeah, and very very happy, and also great job from you guys. Your commentating coverage is just wonderful. It is the main reason that I'm here, and I hope it will last forever.
Well, I hope so as well, buddy. It's been a privilege to have you. You're obviously now going to... We know all the results are provisional, so obviously it looks set in stone. So I didn't see much from you tonight in terms of what could possibly be a tickets. That looks like it could be set in stone of you being champion. You'll probably be making that jump up now to the Pro Series, obviously winning the Pro-Am. What does that mean for next season going into to racing with the pro drivers?
Yeah, I know the pace of the pro drivers. I will be at the back for sure, but I hope for good fights with them. We'll see because I noticed my progress this season, even though I didn't practice much. I mean, this is maybe some experience, understanding of the races, and yeah, that's all. And now I need to work on my pace.
Indeed. Well, congratulations tonight. Congratulations on a brilliant season. We've still got one more week left to go at Donington Park, so enjoy that one next week, and hopefully we'll see you there.
Thanks guys. Thanks Biffy. Thanks Matt.
Indeed. We've even got Wolski calling you Beefy. That's amazing.
Spreading like the plague.
It is spreading like a wildfire at the moment. Just for an update as well, it is a 2-horse race in that Bronze Championship. Simcoe and Krupeljan are the only two drivers who can win it. Big points gap, 97 points is the difference. So it would pretty much take Simcoe to DNF and not score points, or to not turn up next week, for Krupeljan to have to score big points to win that race. So still all to play for in the bronze category, but the Constructors and the Silver Drivers' Championship has been wrapped up tonight. Provisionally, remember, well, when the final tables are posted, that is when you'll know it is fully confirmed. What a night it has been, though. Great night of racing at Zolder. A little bit quiet compared to usual for the Pro-Am drivers on a reverse grid night, but Format B, done. We had to one more race. Format A, Donington Park. I'd love to say the Donington Decider, but the only thing we're deciding is the Bronze Championship. Beef, pleasure once again to have you in the commentary box with me.
Oh, you know it, man. Of course, there's no place I'd than in the box with you, because Patty went ahead and pre-retired from the season. Just one more little jab at him. But yeah, well, I'll keep you updated with next season, and if I get promoted up to pro after my first time actually spending a full season in Pro-Am.
Might not just be driver promotions, commentator promotions as well. Either way, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit the bell to be notified. Subscribe to the channel if you want to, as well as check out on Facebook Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing, and much more. Check them out on Facebook, Designed Manchester there. Donington Decider next week for the Pro-Ams, but we're not done for this week at Zolder. Join me live tomorrow night for the Pro Series, where there's still 3 championships to decide there. We'll be live from 8 p.m. BST for that one. Where you'll be able to see some of the best drivers at SimPlay tearing around this Zolder circuit. But from me, Wellington, the Pro-Am drivers as well, we'll see you next time. Goodbye.